program is of adult nature and may be inappropriate for persons under the age of 18.
The following program is a adult nature. May not be suitable for some of my friends.
It's time for BeDabblin Live.
When you wanna know who's got the show, his friends ain't talking potato. You can call him on the phone. He lives across from Home Depot. BeDabblin Live with El Replay. 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 Start right now.
Welcome to BeDabblin Live. We cut into a live Chad
Big picture.
Zudmock already
You're
in
hopping
progress.
on me, Tommy. All I'm saying is let's get back to work.
Chad is not as
Let's make
drunk.
America. Let's make podcasts great again. That's all I'm saying.
I just got
Thank
word
you,
that Chad was
Kevin.
live, so
But
I
didn't
jumped
put the
right
memo.
in.
I'm looking at it right now.
This is a BeDabblin Live exclusive.
So wow, I went live and look what happened.
What?
We did it. We did it.
What do you do?
Hey, back to the Landau video.
All right. I'm going to pause. Hello, everybody. That was a cold open if I've ever heard of one. Welcome to BeDabblin Live. I am your host, El Harible. Let me get Chad off the screen and get all my friends on the screen. Hughezy's back.
Hey everybody, and I can happily say that I'm less hungover than Chad Zudmock today.
Oh my God. Did you see Chad yesterday?
Fucking, he was so wasted.
So wasted.
How wasted was he
How wasted was he?
that I thought he was going to die?
Brilliant.
And we also have today from Australia, the Aussie Guy. How are you, sir?
Hello, I'm good. I don't know if I've got enough to get as wasted as Chad got last night, but I'm going to try. I've got a
Okay.
few beers here, so I'm going to try.
How wasted was he?
So wasted that I went out of my way to click on his stream and watch it, because otherwise I wouldn't. But I heard so much about how wasted he was, and it took me 3 seconds to figure out how wasted he was. It was great. I love that.
Very.
Yes,
Stream
Chad.
drunk. Everyone should stream drunk.
Yes, Chad's live stream yesterday of MLC, which I guess he's calling MudShark Loves Misery, was highly entertaining. I think the only way you can see it now is to go to his Patreon. But it was the second episode of him basically just watching MLC and talking about how much they suck without him. Even
Well,
though now
actually-
his whole show is just them and talking about how much they suck. Yes, Hughezy.
Yeah, if anybody wants to see it without going to Chad's Patreon, they can go check out the Ski Mask Collective YouTube channel.
Oh, interesting.
Where, because basically they stream snipe everything, so everybody's Patreon content is on the Ski Mask channel, and Ski Mask wasn't exactly too sober himself, so it was an exciting and eventful evening. So there
We
you go.
also stream sniped on Corndiff's channel. We had a good time stream sniping Chad, stream sniping MLC.
So everybody's just watching everyone else's content and using it for their own content. It's fabulous.
I gotta
That-
admit, it was hilarious the other day when Melton was stream sniping Kevin Brennan, and then Brennan went to Melton's channel, and Melton was just waving at him. That was
Yes.
fucking hilarious.
Yes. I've been starting all my days with Melton recently. I'm becoming a huge Melton fan.
He knows what he's doing.
All right, you guys are starting to
does.
talk me into it. I still haven't really checked him out.
Oh, he's hilarious.
Yeah, he's funny.
I'll give him a
He's good.
try.
He's very funny. Last episode, we raised some money for one Jake Hudson. I have an update. If you watched Opie's live stream yesterday morning, we were updated that I did get Jake Hudson his $200 $27, which I rounded up to 230 because I'm very generous.
Wow.
Tooting my own horn. And he proceeded to piss it all away in a matter of, I think, minutes.
Fuck.
How many crayons did he buy specifically?
No crayons that I know, but I was under the impression when Jake came on, he was very, stressed out and seemed to have some issues, and he said some of it was money. So I was nice enough to share half of our super chats. And never again, Jake. But I'm glad you had fun with the money. Jake bought Bubba the Love Sponge merch. He bought Jake Hudson merch.
He has merch?
That's what he says. I don't know. I guess he said on T Republic he has merch.
You know, somebody needs to donate money to me because after hearing that news, I want to buy a noose.
We had a fun time, though. It was a great show. If anybody out there hasn't heard it, check
wait, there's a noose.
Oh my god!
There you go.
But we had a great time with Jake. It was a real fun show.
It was, and I know Hughezy is a huge
that
fan.
news for when you listen back to my new interview with Ray DeVito.
Oh, when did you interview Ray DeVito?
Yesterday, and it should be out tomorrow. And I think it was like he was in court, and I was a defense lawyer, and he was on trial. Because he was so cautious about answering anything, and of course I kept accusing him of vulgar and offensive, dangerous topics, which I'll edit into a lovely clip for YouTube.
That's right. Hughezy goes on your show and he says all this shit and all these bad things, but then he just edits everything out of his show. He's a fucking hack.
Before we start the show, can I ask a group question for the boys?
Oh, of course.
So I've started watching this show on Netflix called Beef, and in it stars this female comedian called Ali Wong, and like she's a good-looking woman, but then you realize that she's extremely short. Apparently she's like 4'10".
Really?
And it's weird because like that's the size of a child. So the question is, even though Ali Wong is in her 40s, could you sleep with a woman that's that size?
Oh, sure. Why not? She's not a child. She's just the size of a child.
Yeah,
that's a pretty tall child too, right? What, 4'11", 4'10", you said?
Yeah. By the way, 9/11 was a national tragedy.
Never forget.
Yeah,
So
terrible.
not as
what
bad
happened.
as January 6th, or as bad as what was yesterday. Can't remember.
21st of April.
Oh yes, and not as bad as the 21st of April.
Yeah, the day that Chad live
happened.
streamed and slobbered down his own shirt more than fucking
Yes.
Kevin Brennan on a coke binge.
The Chad drunken disaster.
Did you guys notice his crooked glasses barely hanging on his face? That was one of my favorite parts of the whole stream.
Yeah, I the thing that was making me laugh is that because Chad's been blessed with an incredible head of hair.
He
But he
does
was
have
so-
good hair.
But he was so drunk and out of shape after the hype train that his sweat was making his hair fall down his hat. And he looked like fucking Dennis the Menace towards the end, and there's no way he doesn't smell of shit today.
Yes, I agree. He was a mess.
That was the most entertaining I've ever been from
I
Chad.
agree. And it just makes you realize that Chad was one of those guys who hung out drunk all the time. And someone must have said, like, oh, you're funny. Like, and that's when he decided, oh, I should be a comedian. Because he actually was kind of entertaining drunk. He's never entertaining sober, except for, being stupid. But he never tries to, he was actually trying to make jokes kind of as when he was drunk. And I think he's one of those funny drunks.
Yeah, you're right. He seems he's the kind of guy like at the bar that gets hammered, and it's probably a good time at the bar. And when you're hammered drunk, and I could see that.
But I think it's also just the fact that at his age, in his late 40s, early 50s,
right?
That people his own age don't want to hang around with him in bars because they're like, I've got fucking 4 kids. I've got to go to work. I can't drink vodka shots at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday, listening to sweet Incubus songs.
Aussie Guy, speaking of podcast news, like not OJ, but Hughezy said that he was going to release his interview with Ray DeVito. Do you have some podcasting news?
Oh, look at you, just setting things up. Yeah, look,
I'm a professional.
Yeah, Malatown there. Last time you see that logo. Yeah, I'm rebranding my podcast, Malatown. It is a long story, but basically it started as a sort of tribute to the band Mallet Show and the Mallet Militia, but we sort of created our own thing, and it sort of caused a bit of a stir on the band Mallet Show in the last week, and it kind of made me decide to go, nah, fuck it. I'm gonna change the name because I don't want to cause problems for Van Mallet or anything like that, and just have my own name and continue to do what we're doing. So yes, there will be a name change coming forward, which is going to be the United States of Australia is the new name of the podcast.
Spy Report. Spy Report.
Can I announce my new podcast that's coming out?
Of course.
And this is not to cause any trouble with Ben Maller, but it's called Ben Maller Fucks Kids. And it's
allegedly, not allegedly. He does
and
it.
It's bi-weekly. Get it?
I do get it.
So yeah, that'll be Ben Maller Fucks Kids
Adam,
in Minecraft.
cut that out. Cut that out. We got to cut that out. Hughezy won't say that on his show. He'll cut it out. There's bleeps all over his show. But then he comes on my show and he just accuses people of sleeping with kids, allegedly. Cut that out, OJ.
We got a super chat from our buddy Bill Loney.
Bill Loney, $2. He's a fat lesbian. Dyke train. Thanks, OJ. Chad is a fat lesbian. He's the MudShark. That is true.
Just going back to Jake Hudson, just to guarantee that there's no super chats tonight. Half of the super chats tonight are going to me. So if you guys want to super chat it up. One thing I will say though, David Chandler, well done, very funny. But what would have been funnier is to really test Jake's math skills by donating $93.67 and shit like that. Where Jake really had to break down the numbers. I would have much preferred to have seen that.
Well, Stud Joe Depot was trying to do that, and I just rounded everything down.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Speaking of the last show, everyone was mentioning my man titties. So I spoke to a very good friend of mine who does a podcast. I will not mention their name, but they recommended a certain tool, which I'm using now. I got the deluxe version where I can actually hold a water bottle.
Did you steal that?
I did not steal it.
But did you
I toe the line on stealing things. I think we had the same joke there.
What?
Thank you to my friend. It's working well.
In all honesty, what is that for, and why would you need a drink bottle in it? What's its actual purpose?
You're not allowed to defend yourselves in Australia, are you? So this is actually for concealed carry.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes, but a water bottle fits in it quite nicely. And I actually gave this excuse to my friend who does a podcast. I told him to steal my idea and just tell everyone, hey, I'm packing when I'm doing my show. I don't know who's going to bust in my house. My friend, he decided not to use that excuse. But yes. But thank you.
That's very good.
Dylan Mulvaney has the same bra, I believe. Yes.
Dylan Mulvaney has the biggest set of tits I've ever seen.
She is beautiful. She is a beautiful lady. Dr. Spaghetti Tooth John, Mooby bra.
That's right. Yes.
I don't know what that means, but thank you.
Mooby in the scrounge.
Mooby in the scrounge. Oh, man. Yeah, we're big fans, or I'm a big fan at least. I know OJ hasn't checked it out yet.
It's time for Mooby in the scrounge.
All right. So we have two directions we can go. We can either talk about real life wrestling feuds where we pretty much just highlight Jim Cornette versus Vince Russo, or we can watch and talk about Ray DeVito's bit called Mutual Breakup. What would you guys like to start with?
I vote for the guy with the chin like a cartoon anus.
Okay. Well, our next bit is about Ray DeVito. Have you watched Ray DeVito's bit called Mutual Breakup, Hughezy?
No, apart from his Instagram clips, I've never seen any Ray DeVito stand-up. So that means actually I have seen Ray DeVito stand-up. What a pointless answer.
Okay, this is not stand-up. So Melton, actually, speaking of Nobody Likes Onions, he actually watched this the other day, and it literally left him speechless. And I agree, it left me kind of speechless too. It is a skit that Ray DeVito did at pretty much the height or the beginning of the pandemic. It was during the pandemic, and it is chock full of celebrity comedians and online personalities. I mean, he called out all the favors, and everyone showed up, and everyone, did that favor for him. I know, Aussie Guy, you saw this, right?
I did.
Okay.
Well, I heard it because I was driving at the time. I haven't actually seen it. I've heard it.
You haven't seen it, so this is great.
Yes.
But you heard Melton's
Yes.
coverage of it. Yes.
Yes.
And that's what inspired me. And also, I haven't seen anyone else talk about it. So
I gotta say, I haven't seen it, and
Oh.
the reason I haven't seen it is because I like Ray, and I didn't want to think any lower of him, so I kind of just stayed away from it. I saw it all over Twitter, but I couldn't click on it.
That's the thing about Ray. If you don't want to think less of him, don't watch him.
I, for one, am a Ray DeVito fan. I know I like to goof on him, but this is ridiculous.
I am
looks
full
like-
retarded.
Yeah, he looks like Ripley from Alien 3.
Yeah, he looks interesting here. I like him with this crew cut thing going on. All right, here we
She's
go.
from fucking Schindler's List.
Yeah, who is she?
Would
That
you?
is a girl, right? No.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I think it's Dillerman Valley.
Oh, look, AOC.
Wow, 5 years, and we're really doing this.
Yeah, I mean, it was mostly good times, and we're still friends.
The audio only comes
Yeah,
out of
we got
one
so many
channel, by
mutual
the way.
friends.
The
Yeah,
left.
We'll let
So
them
does
know
the
that
laughter.
breakup was mutual and that they should
Oh.
support both of us.
Yes, sir.
He's inconsiderate.
Were you about to
Oh.
say something?
Oh no! I was just reacting to Hughezy.
Oh, sorry.
It was good
All right,
choice.
so Ray and his girlfriend here are breaking up, and now there's some other girl on the screen.
He's incompetent. He dresses like a 12-year-old.
Would
all
you?
right? He also has that weird chin thing. So
No.
gross. Okay. And then also, have you seen him?
She looks like Ripley in Alien 2.
He's a coward.
He's a
We're both still
coward.
gonna play on your softball team.
Okay. Well, I love you both.
There's a
See you
fake.
Tuesday. Go Tigers.
I don't feel too bad.
She
He's a
reminds me of
racist.
Chad.
He's not racist.
Last summer, he was singing Juicy by Biggie Smalls, and he didn't sing the N-word, but I know if he had been in his car alone with the windows rolled up, he would have. So you can do better than that.
He had no personality. No personality? The first time we hooked up was on an air mattress. Like, you have to be charming to convince somebody.
Oh, now
to
the
do
chat.
that.
Now it's coming out of both
Air
channels,
mattress, real charming.
but the sound is
Thank-
completely different.
It was all along for me. I don't know.
What's
Now
the
we can
sex
start
like? I mean,
laughing.
what's it like sleeping
Oh,
with
Jesus
you?
Christ.
It's
Wet.
the
I'm
dialogue.
still trying to figure out what the hell
Wet
we're
all the
watching.
time.
Yeah, it's
That's
Okay.
great. That's
So if you can't
That's
follow
perfect.
so
That's all you
far,
want.
Ray and his girlfriend are broken up, and now I guess she's telling all her girlfriends, and they're all confirming that yes, Ray is a dud.
Yeah,
Okay.
at least he front-loaded the sketch with a lot of hilarity at the beginning.
Yes, there's a lot of jokes in here.
and one not just to bury Ray's writing, but the acting is so natural, and you really feel like you're in the moment with these people.
Well,
Yeah,
we're about to get to our A-list celebrities too,
Yeah.
so keep that in mind. These are kind of the lower rung.
I just wish it was even longer.
Yes, we still have about 3 minutes to
God, it
go
feels like
through.
we've watched 5 already.
The
The sketch directed by Peter Jackson.
sexually, like, you sweat a lot, like an abnormal amount of sweat. It was insane.
Ray DeVito sweats a lot.
That is
Spy report.
You can do better than him.
You know what? I'm on your side. I'm Team Liz.
But you're his roommate.
Yeah, well, he never hooked me up with a sister like you.
I believe
looks like-
that's Keith from Keith and the Girl, right?
That looks like Patrick Melton going through chemo.
It kind of does. I believe that's Keith from Keith and the Girl. I never watched Keith and the Girl, but just based on Melton going over Ray stuff. I think that was the guy who's Keith.
That's where you need Melton's. Got him.
Got him.
You did. Don't worry, he can still live here.
You're on his lease.
You can do a lot better, Liz.
So his dialogue's just coming through.
Yeah, how about we bang in the back?
Hey, bang, how about it?
I get it, man. She's smart, gorgeous, way better than you. Everyone loves her. I'd be bummed too, but I'm here to raise your self-esteem.
Yeah, I'm totally glad you're here.
She's way more attractive than you are.
Whoa!
And you,
good egg.
Sorry to say, do not.
Hey, praise Allah!
Yeah,
he got Mark Norman.
Yeah, that's how you know it's going to be funny because Mark Norman's there, and that guy tells jokes.
He tells jokes. Hey, we got a joke. Hey, I'm going to tell a joke right now. Hey, I'm in portrait mode instead of landscape mode. Hey.
Yeah, and he's got Kevin Brennan's.
He's got Kevin Brennan's what?
Skin. Well, so does Ray too.
Yeah, Ray is looking a bit Oscar Mayery as well.
It's like he got a bunch of cameos from people, gave him the script, and just bought cameos to put this thing together.
There was a rumor that Mark Norman said that he regretted saying yes to this.
I can't believe this never made it on Comedy Central.
Yeah. I can't believe this was used in the opening of Trading Places too.
I had a bunch of options too. Probably.
Know what I found interesting? Well, no, I guess I was going to say this was the only person that Ray seemed to interact with as far as like his calls, but I guess that person that was punching him, he also interacted with. So
I just love that they used all of the stars in the sketch.
Oh, we haven't seen all the stars yet. There's still a bigger star in our world, I would say, than Mark Norman.
The good news is now we can become Eskimo brothers, huh?
Unbelievable.
Hello.
See, that part wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
He's a homo.
Dude, you played Mark.
Look at that.
Funny.
Look at that. Oh, by the way, can I just confirm I'm not Ryan Long?
I was going to say, I thought that was Hughezy.
Yeah, I'm not only am I not Ryan Long, but I didn't frame this shot here. Look at this fantastic cinematography here.
Ryan Long is obviously tall, and Ray, I guess, is very short.
Yeah, this is why you don't get Peter Dinklage to be your director of photography anymore.
El Horrible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot about Ray's rap video in the chat.
There's a Ray rap video?
Apparently so.
Well, I guess we're going to have to watch that after this. And isn't this not Ray's? Is this Ray's channel? Like, why doesn't Ray do stuff on this channel? He has over 1,000 subscribers.
He has 2 YouTube channels, and it is weird that he doesn't just put them all in the one place, and because he'd be doubling everything up.
Right. I don't understand. But I don't think he's made a new video on this channel maybe since this video. All right, let's continue. Yeah, so another big celebrity, Ryan Long.
Eskimo brothers. Norman? Yeah. I mean, that kind of works in your favor, no? He's level up from you. He's better looking. Is this news to you? Thanks, buddy. I'm dead serious. Dude, do you know how many guys' lives are better because I allowed them to be my Eskimo brother? I'm trying to help you, dude.
Why are you calling me? I don't even know what. You don't even have my phone anymore. I thought you were calling because I'm trying to sell my bike on Craigslist.
Seriously?
Did he know the camera was running?
I don't know, but that was actually probably the funniest line in the thing. I thought you were calling me because I put my bike on Craigslist.
Oh, dude. If you want to win her back, I think you should buy her this mountain bike.
I mean, honestly, I think you should just get back out there.
I love how boomer it is
Okay.
to hold the phone out so wide.
I feel if I took this video and shortened it and did some editing, that it would actually be funny. There's just way too much.
I don't think
non-funny things.
Would it be 3 seconds, OJ?
Yeah, it would just be the Kevin Brennan part. So
It'd probably be maybe a minute long, but at least it'd be funny.
Wait until you see how this ends. It's kind of like that Shamalama guy. It's really there's a big twist at the end.
Hopefully, it's the noose around his neck.
But it didn't ruin it for anyone.
Definitely, no, that's ridiculous.
Stop. No, my friend Camille. Okay, wait, you get off work Thursday at
Would you?
4:30? Okay,
Yes.
so 5:15, she's meeting you at Harold Park.
Wait, is that the same girl they had on MLC the other day? I only recognize female comedians by their giant schnozzes now. That's not her though. I don't think. Never mind.
Stacey Pressman. Or
Oh,
whatever the
okay.
bitch is called.
You recognize the Jewish ones then?
That's the nose or the name that belongs to that nose. Stacy, whatever. What was it? Pressman? Never heard of her. But in all fairness, I never heard of Ray DeVito until a couple of months ago.
Yes.
No,
it's
no.
yes.
So the Ray rap link is in the private chat.
Okay. Sorry, I had to pause there because I don't. So I don't understand this cutscene. So everyone's still saying she's too good for you. Blah blah blah. Now he's with some other girl. They're at a park bench.
He looks like he's in his prison scrubs.
What happened?
What happened? He couldn't get an erection.
Oh, okay. That was him going on a date.
Jesus.
Was he supposed to get an erection at that park bench?
So convoluted.
Finally, something I can relate to in this video.
Yeah.
And how could he not get an erection? That's when 9/11 happened. Everybody gets horny thinking about that.
Yeah, wasn't he looking at the towers falling?
Yeah. Jeez, I can't get a hard on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's exactly why she dumped him.
That was a good Ray.
Thank you.
All right, so now Ray's getting a call from his mom. We
Would
are
you?
only 20 seconds. Yes.
I love that you gotta shoot that. Like you gotta shoot the shot that his mom calling rather than just answer the phone and go, "Hey, mom."
Hey,
Yeah.
Mom. There is
Hello?
about 20 seconds left.
What did you do to her? I want grandbabies.
The end.
God, that makes
Oh,
Stuttering
wait.
John's
Extra footage. ML, or what is it? Marvel Universe
Cutscenes.
footage.
Have
Who
to
was
set
that?
up the sequel.
But who was that guy? Why are we introduced to a new character after it ends?
And why is he ignoring the call?
Yeah. Oh, again, maybe this is part of the Marvel universe. Like
Maybe
the next
it's-
sketch- this builds
Maybe
up.
it's the
Yes.
maybe it's the director. Sorry,
I don't know. Directed
Ray's
by
calling
Matt.
him for. Yeah, Ray's
Dimitri.
calling him for his next great sketch, and he's like, "No."
Unbelievable.
Who is that?
Ray's next date.
Is that a comedian I don't know or something? Is that Brian McCarthy? No.
I have no idea who that is, but at least they spent the money on the costuming department.
Yeah, he looks good. Just wear your track pants and polo. That looks like shit. Is that his dad?
Maybe, yeah, good point.
That's it.
Maybe his dad.
I guess that's supposed to be his dad, but that was it.
I'd rather watch Chocolate Rain.
Whoops, sorry. Get out of here, Carl.
WATP.
Hey, Garth Heritage, 199.99 in ZAR. Thank
What
you.
is that?
I don't know. It's I think it's South American money.
That's
Good
what
to
it's
see.
like.
Good to
So,
see
yeah,
an
it stands for
Aussie. Good to see an Aussie and an Irishman being funny on a podcast. I didn't know that this was possible. This is a great show. Thank you,
What
Garrett.
happened? So there you go.
Go fuck yourself.
Oh, how dare- no, you can't talk to my super chatters like that. OJ, take that out. It's funny. He goes on everyone else's show and says whatever he wants, but then you listen to his show, it's full of bleeps. He edits it all.
Hughezy got me on It's Hughezy Hello. He edited, obviously, it was bleeped, but he got me so good. He stunned me with what he said that I was left speechless. But it was a great moment in the podcast.
Yeah.
Of course.
Are you guys still doing Get My Go? What's the deal there? Uh-oh, touchy subject, OJ.
Yeah,
It is.
Well, we recorded this. A guy we know called I forgot. Oh, Chad A&B, who just started a show called Perfectly Rated. So expect a call soon, El Harible. But yeah, so we're hoping to get it back. But this is my last free weekend for the next 2 months. So
Okay.
unless it's recorded in the next couple of hours, I will not be able to get my go until possibly July.
You've heard it here first, folks.
Spy report.
Did you also just hear it here first, Aussie guy?
No, I was aware of that.
Oh, okay. Damn.
Hughes and I are tight. Not as well. We're tighter than Hughesy's anus.
We're tighter than the writing in that Ray DeVito script.
That was man.
That
was
made
something.
One Too Many look like brilliant writing. I gotta say. I mean, that was
there is a couple of
horrible
mildly
writing.
amusing moments in One Too Many. I didn't see. I mean, yeah, Kevin Brennan being a fucking boomer with the phone was funny, but outside of that, you know,
yeah, there was nothing there. But
Yeah.
what was
Oscar Schindler was a better writer than Ray DeVito.
All right. Well, since we rattled the cup and you guys hit the goal with that 199.99 czar super chat, we will now go into overtime. Ray DeVito overtime. Beloved chatter has sent us this. Apparently, this is some sort of Ray DeVito rap video. It's called Comedy Music Video, Keeping It Too Real.
when I think Ray DeVito, I think rap. So I think this will be funny.
Ray is very cool. He knows what the kids are into.
I hope he says a word a lot.
I hope he says, my name's Ray DeVito, and I'm here to say...
Ray DeVito, featuring TMC from the West Coast. About to tell you how we keep it too real. Way more real than ever necessary.
We share too much. That's the
Yo,
deal,
yo,
yo.
yo.
We won't shut up because we keep it real, yo. We share too much. That's the deal, yo. We won't shut up because we keep it real, yo.
I'ma be real with you, girl, cause I never front. Ain't changed my bed sheets in 11 months.
Charismatic.
I got bed bugs, though.
Does anyone know who this guy is?
No, and I want to keep it that way.
All right.
At least I don't think so. What I noticed, don't know. I'm too high on that end.
Yo.
Nothing more than a fling. I get down and propose with a new ring. Let me
Ew.
buy you a drink. It's a social crutch. Can't communicate sober because we do it so much. You look alright tonight. But your
Where the
friend
fuck is
looks
Ray?
good. I'ma settle
Yeah.
for you, though.
Some of those hers are pretty good looking.
Every little mister,
Ooh.
5'6", so you want me. Twist a mean blunt, but I can't do my own laundry. For iron and shirts, can you do mine as well? It's not misogynist, it's just economies of scale. That's how I roll with the hoes. My style's fly cause my mom buys most of my clothes. Don't give me no grief just cause my mom's my tailor. She got excellent taste and knows when all the sales are.
That's Ray.
She on that coupon tip. Monthly Costco trips for frozen chicken strips.
We share too much. That's the deal, yo. We won't shut up because we keep it real, yo. We share too much. That's
All right, just to give you an idea, this was made 11 years ago. So I'm assuming this guy thought that hitching his wagon to Ray DeVito 11 years ago with his rap song probably, could have blown up. Does
Not just
Ray
that,
actually rap?
I'd buy it like 20 years ago, when
Right.
everybody
When they
had a
first
rap
started.
deal 20 years ago. You're like,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, Zumark had his Hall & Oates rap song. See, the thing is, this is why I hate these I would rather see the footage of the guys trying to perform in the street and then feeling awkward when some giant muscular man walks past with his wife.
Get the
And
fuck
they're
out of the
just-
road.
Yeah, and it's like, sorry, it's these fucking the shamelessness of these people. But I like seeing Ray dancing. Now we know what he was like at that wedding when he
Sure.
tried to have an affair with Gina Levy.
I heard he also he danced with a very, very old woman.
Hey, El Horrible, we got a super chat before we continue.
deal, yo.
Okay,
We
hold
won't
on,
shut
sorry.
up because we keep it real.
Super chat, Dave Dalfer, $10. Thank you for the best Kevin Brennan impression. Dave Dalfer, you're a fucking genius. Thank you. Pinkman. Fucking Chad. All right, so let's continue with this rap video.
I'm hoping Ray
doesn't rap,
has a verse for himself. That'd be
he has to, or else
Yeah.
I don't feel like
I'll
people
be pissed.
Me too.
Wasted our time.
Yeah, the Yeasty Boys.
You're right.
The
Yo,
Wu-Tang
motherfuckers
Cunts.
lying.
Real, yo.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
DeVito, the 44100 6523. Social security number, fool. I
got overactive sweat glands. I'll deal with stuff. I got a tattoo once and she slid right off. And on my face, I got a big fat chin with cleft in the middle like Peter Griffin. And my girl, I wish she had bigger breasts. I'd rather deal with those and her emotional messes. Bipolar? Is she happy or sad? And why am I filling the void left by your dad? And grudges? Yeah, I can hold them too. You cheated on me. That's why I followed that dude. He had a parking spot to go with his corporate attire. That means I didn't have to guess when I slashed his tires. Passive aggressive. Yeah, I'm that guy. I'll buy you drinks, report a DUI. Man, I told you some. I'll tell you some more. I keep half my money in cash on the floor. Under the mattress, 5,000. Live on the block, 6 in Houston. WCWN. Those are the pin letters to the ATM. We share too much, that's the deal, yo. We won't shut up because we keep it real, yo. We share too much, that's the deal, yo. We won't shut up because we keep it real, yo.
Oh, good, another guy.
About to share way too much. About to get real uncomfortable up in here.
Is that Aster Koo?
Listen to my spiel about how I keep
I don't think so. Maybe.
Well, she wasn't funny, so it must have been her.
I have a venereal yield and bet I come too quickly, afraid of intimacy. I love the sequel to Sex in the City. I masturbate every single night except for Christmas night, cause I don't seem right, not real bright. I just lied, I do masturbate.
Was this a hit? Are we gonna get a copyright strike?
When I drink milk in my bank account, right now there's zilch. My favorite actor is Jake Gyllenhaal, not gay, but yo, he makes me melt. I totally do him, not in a gay way. Jesus. I don't give an F-U-C-K. Think I share too much. My dick you can suck and also lick on my right nut. It hangs slightly lower than my left nut. My credit's messed up cause I missed payments on my 90 Vespa. Had a girl named Bridget, rarely let me hit it. Only did it one time, I came in less than a minute. She dumped me, now she's fucking Michael Bivins from Velvet DeVoe. Can't get
40 seconds left.
Can we not?
I don't know. I guess Ray's not coming back, right?
I'm assuming he'll be in the chorus. There he is.
That's the deal, yo. We won't shut up.
They call it the hook, AJ. There was a few good names in there in the chat. I forget who to give credit for, but I saw LL Stool J.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them.
Run DUMB, which is pretty good.
Run DUMB, I like that one.
I don't know why Ray doesn't.
That was
use just the part of his song for his intro for his show.
Yeah, he could use that as an intro for his song.
Yeah, that was shocking. But you know the problem with trying to do comedy songs like that is that if you put it up on YouTube and it doesn't blow up, then all you've got is just a really shit song on YouTube that about 17 people have seen.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, because there's this girl called. Have you ever heard of a female comedian called Jax Del Osa?
No.
Which the thing, see, her problem is she's really good looking, but she's not a good comedian at all, And she keeps putting up these sketches and shit online, and they all keep bombing. So, poor Ray, that was not good. Although I did like the guy's stuff about wanting to have sex with Jake Gyllenhaal, because we all do.
Yeah, except you call him Gyllenhaal, so it would rhyme. I actually laughed at Ray's rap, and for the reasons I expected to. But no, I thought Ray's rap was funny.
Ray's wasn't bad. It was very, I guess they all were pretty, all that self, what's the word I'm looking for?
Mutilation?
Deprecating, yeah. And I thought, Ray's was kind of clever. I mean, the last guy just kept talking about his penis and his balls and how he comes really quick. I guess Ray's bit is that he sweats a lot.
So I've heard.
Yeah, I heard
Uncle Rico could do 30 minutes on that.
I guess so, right? Because
they will.
They mentioned it in the mutual breakup skit, and then he mentioned it again in his rap. So, that's a nice shirt, nice baseball jersey.
Thank you. Sweats a lot.
He sweats a lot.
Nice.
All right. Well, that was our Ray DeVito 40 minutes.
Biggie smells.
Hold on. Nice.
Now Chad is just watching
The notorious B.O.
Norm McDonald.
Two cuck.
All right. Hold on real quick.
Snipe Dog.
Yeah, we're going to check in with the MudShark.
Sweat Doggy Dog.
Usual credit, but there you have it. Is it? His name is Chad Zuma. Give him a hand, everybody. Give him a hand.
Whoa! Oh, Chad's playing his own stand-up.
Norm committed suicide just a few years later. I wonder why.
This is the night Norm died.
That guy was a hack.
How about a hand for my opener?
How tall's Norm? How tall's
See,
Chad?
that's how you do it, Dave.
Now it's time for a celebrity.
Jesus
Now it's time to be funny, motherfucker. What?
Yeah, he stopped it before.
All right, a couple
any
of
of
things
his
that
jokes.
was happening in that clip.
He
Number
just
one,
wanted to show that
it's
Norm
live
McDonald
TV.
said his name.
So I'm shitting my pants.
I mean,
you have to do 10 minutes on the dot because it goes to commercial. Norm's bringing me up. I'm first. I have to follow Norm. If you go watch Norm's set that night,
You know what I don't get about Chad is it like
about
I'm
Hitler's
38
dog
and
and-
if
or
I
Hitler's
drink
dog
whiskey
and-
or vodka, I
It's
get
online. It,
badly,
like,
badly
went viral. It has
hungover
millions
for
of views.
hours and hours.
Yeah.
How is Chad keep that hype train rolling? Like if I was him, I'd be fucking dead in bed trying to whack one off. If you know
I
what
thought
I
he was
mean.
going to throw up when he was, because he did like 4 of them. Or I know he did at least 3, but he might have done as many as 4.
Has he deleted that stream yet?
Oh, I'm sure. Let me look. He said he was leaving the first episode up because yesterday was only episode 2. So episode 2, he was going to do the same thing where it's live for free, or it's free, and then he takes it down and puts it on Patreon. So I'm pretty sure he took it down and put it on Patreon.
I don't know. Just say I'm from Cleveland. He's like, you're from Cleveland.
There's no way he wanted to
Who's
keep
from Cleveland? And I'm just like,
his drunk show up for
me?
free.
And he goes, yeah, you got to have better credits than that. I go, I don't know. He goes, well, what do you do for fun? And at the time, I was playing pickup basketball.
He's a hooper.
I used to play pickup basketball a lot. Probably should do it some more.
This
I
story's
pickup
so
basketball.
interesting.
He's
You
like,
would think
"Oh,
that Ray DeVito
are you
wrote
in a
it.
league? I go, yeah, I'm in a men's league. He goes, all right, well, any good? I'm like, not really.
He's basically saying Norm said, "Hey, what's your credits?" And the only thing Chad had was, "I'm from Cleveland." So then he's trying to think of something else to tell Norm to use as a credit.
Yeah, I average like 3 points a game. And he goes, that's terrible.
So Norm goes, "What do you like to do?" "Well, I like to play pickup basketball sometimes." Hey, your next comedian likes to play pickup basketball.
Yeah. I like to jerk off.
Being a Clevelander, it kind of bothers me that he says Cleveland. I don't think he's even from Cleveland, though. Doesn't he say he's from Kent?
Is that near
That's
Cleveland?
Yeah, well, yeah, he definitely is that, but
Cut that out.
Kent
Stop
is
saying
not
that
Cleveland.
word.
Cunt.
You can't say that word.
He went to Cunt State.
Stop saying that, OJ. Now you have to cut yourself
Wait.
out.
We can't say cunt or rape.
No, or Leslie. There's 2 words you can't say. You can't say
suicide.
cunt or Leslie Jones.
How much money would you have to be paid to smell Leslie Jones's cunt?
Dude. How much you got?
69, brother.
Whoa. Hey, ho, whoa, praise Allah.
Wow. Why would you talk about that? I go, well, you asked what I do for fun. And he just walked away. And I go, okay, that was weird. So when he just introduced me, that's the genius of Norm McDonald. He goes, this next guy, he plays in his men's pickup basketball. He averages 3 points a game. That's an unusual credit, but he did that, and it made it like I've gotten booked off of that alone.
No,
So
you
Norm's a
didn't.
genius.
Stop it.
He's a fucking genius.
He's a genius.
Norm's not over.
He asked you what your credits were. You said, "I don't know. I did radio in Cleveland, or I'm from Cleveland." And he said, "Oh, that's it." And then he said, "Well, what do you do for fun?" And you said, "I play basketball." And then that's all he said. It wasn't that genius, but Chad got booked in giant rooms because of that moment.
Overrated,
Yeah.
Trent Bloom. You're out of your fucking gourd. So we're going down memory lane today. This isn't a show. We're just having fun. We got 183.
It's never a show. When
Chilling.
is it a show? That's another thing with Chad. Every time he goes on, "Oh, this isn't a show." When is it a show? What's the difference between a show and you just rambling? Anyway, All right. Let's move on. We'll check in with Chad a little later. If he's still on. I don't think he will be. But this next bit is Wrestling Feud. Kinky Loco put together a very extensive thing for me of Jim Cornette versus Vince Russo. All right.
What? By the way, and Dane will love this one because the thing is, Jim Cornette is literally a cuck.
Why do you say that?
Kayfabe, brother, by the way. Come on.
So wait, Hughezy, are you more in the Russo camp than the Cornette camp?
Yeah, well, I like Vince Russo. I mean, to quote Rad Rob, we're very good close friends. That's a little DMG joke there. Yeah. But yeah, no, Jim Cornette literally is a cuck. He lets guys bang his wife while he watches. That's his kink, and he's admitted to it. He's a cuck.
He's a cuck.
So wait, okay.
I don't remember him admitting to that. Is that something recent?
Yeah,
no, that
Cut
was
that
a
out.
couple years ago. No, that was a couple of years ago. But yeah, no.
Okay.
I don't remember him ever admitting it though.
No, he admitted to it. Yeah.
He's
okay.
Let's set the table a little bit and explain who these two men are: Jim Cornette and Vince Russo. All right. So Jim Cornette is an old school wrestling booker.
Probably the greatest mind in wrestling. I mean, nowadays he's the last of the old school professional wrestling mindset, and he's a genius when it comes.
I had
to
a feeling when OJ explained this with Jake Hudson the other day. He said like two guys, and one of them's really entertaining. I was like, OJ is a Jim Cornette. And he just proved
former Jim Cornette coach.
He just proved it with that one of the most genius minds in the history of the business. Jim
can't
Cornette
deny
has
it.
booked some fucking garbage and has some.
I've never read any of his books. I know professional wrestling, and Cornette was probably the most entertaining guy for me personally to listen to when it came.
Keep being a cuck for him, yeah. Cuck.
Well, I didn't know.
Don't get me wrong, OJ. I'm not dismissing Cornette. He does have a great mind for the business, and he is very entertaining. But Vince Russo is entertaining as well. I like Vince as well.
Well, here I don't want to go too deep into this, but my problem with Russo is the same problem that Cornette has with him. I like the old school wrestling. I didn't like the sports entertainment crap. That's
like Stone Cold.
Two different mindsets, and that's all. That's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line.
You're a cuck.
What?
Bottom line is you're a cuck, and that's your.
I haven't listened to Cornette in a couple of years. I was a big Cornette supporter. Again, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but his co-host Brian Last, I like to call Brian Brian First. Excuse me. I call him. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He made me take some videos down off YouTube. He attacked his Stephen P. New, for any of you that know out there who he is. He's a huge wrestling fan that's involved in wrestling, and sicked him on me. And ever since then, I stopped listening to Cornette. It's been a couple of years now.
Ooh. All right. So yes, basically these two guys were wrestling bookers, and they clashed a lot in company. Like they both kind of met in WWE, right? That's where they both
yes.
So Cornette was in WWE. He came to WWE after years in like Jim Crockett and WCW. He finally came to WWE after Smoky Mountain Wrestling shut down, which was Jim's promotion.
Right.
And then so Jim was booking with Vince and Bruce Pritchard, and then Vince Russo came in. And so it was Vince Russo, Jim Cornette, and Vince McMahon. And that's where these guys started to hate each other. And then they worked together again in TNA. And,
right.
Yeah.
And all comes up.
I got to say this, though. I just got to interject this. See, this Cornette grew up, and I know we're going to get into it, but he grew up in the wrestling business. Russo was hired. He was hired as the magazine writer. He was not. He wasn't hired at first as a booker, which I'm sure we're going to get into.
Yeah. Well, that's what I wanted to ask, because I don't know if we get into that so much. Okay. But I didn't realize that Jim Cornette was a ringside photographer at age 14.
Yeah.
And that was, which is interesting. That was interesting to me, because that's also how Paul Heyman got his start.
Paul Heyman, yep.
Photographer.
And a lot of people think they're they compare them. A lot of people compare them to each other, Heyman and Cornette. Like Cornette is the hillbilly of wrestling, and Heyman is like the New York guy, but they're
on the Northeast guy.
They're so similar, but they don't really like each other.
That's
they're fine. Heyman and Cornette are
well,
fine.
maybe nowadays, but back then they didn't really appreciate.
I think even back then they were fine. Like just listening to Cornette, I've listened to a lot of Cornette over the last sort of 7-8 years. If you El Replay, if you present something today that I haven't heard of Jim Cornette talking about Vince Russo, I'll be stunned because I think I've heard it all.
Yeah.
But no, look, Jim's great. Jim is entertaining. Like I said, I've listened to hours and hours and hours of Jim Cornette talking. He is entertaining. Yeah, he's bonkers. He's out of his mind. Like I think, to be fair, but his hatred for Vince Russo, and I feel like OJ's got a little bit of it in him. To me, is a little bit bizarre. Like it's wrestling, man. Like it's not the end of the world.
Jim Cornette has literally watched other men come in his wife's face, but Vince Russo said, "Bro, push the rock, bro," is too much for Cornette.
But as El Horrible said, Cornette has started off as a kid, as a photographer. This was professional wrestling was his entire life, and it consumed it was everything.
Right.
To him.
And how did
this guy Russo to come in and be the total antithesis of what he believes in?
Here's my question.
Yes, I can understand the hatred.
Here's my question, because I know it comes up and I don't know if they fully explain it. Vince Russo was like working at a video store, is what everyone keeps saying. So how did he end up from a video store to professional wrestling, to the WWE?
So a guy had a wrestling show that was connected with the WWF, and Russo basically paid sponsorship. He sponsored the radio show and kind of weaseled his way onto the radio.
The old
show.
WWF radio show?
It wasn't. It wasn't. It was a local like New York station or something.
You're talking about John Arezzi. John
Arezzi, yes.
Vince Russo wasn't working at a video store. He owned multiple radio stores.
Oh, okay. All right. Because
And
I didn't know that.
He ran promotions in the video store. He would get wrestlers in to help sell wrestling videos and stuff like that. He'd do meet and greets.
Wrestling videos are huge.
Yes, exactly.
That makes sense to me. Okay.
And he got involved with John Arezzi, who's also in New York, and he had the Wrestling Spotlight radio show. And so Vince sponsored him and then got involved, and then it just made more contacts and managed to get his way into.
Like I said, he weaseled his way onto the radio show and then took it over. And,
I like that there's two different sides. OJ is obviously more on the Cornette side, and you guys are on the Russo side. We haven't even gotten into this. I haven't played any
I'm not even
thank you for this.
I'm not even saying that I'm necessarily on the Russo side. I just know how biased things can be against Vince, and OJ is definitely on that side. I
am a pro wrestling fan. I'm not a sports entertaining fan. I'm not a fan. I'm not.
So you didn't like the Attitude Era
as a person, but I did not. No, I will get into that. I'm sure.
Yeah,
we'll get into it.
By the way, just before this starts, can I officially break news?
Oh, absolutely. Hold on 1 second.
Spy report.
As of 8 minutes ago, Bob Levy's pool has officially begun to be built in his back garden.
Whoa!
Spy report.
Is there any photos?
On Gina Levy's Twitter, and I check her page often, if you know what I mean. The pool maker guy is now officially beginning the work to be done on the Bob Levy's pool. So it is happening, boys and girls.
Ground has been broken.
Hey, before we get into this, Dave Daffala, $5. He wants to hear El Horrible. Word is you do a perfect Carl.
Yeah, hold on. I got
him on the spot.
This is this is Carl. Hey, I'm doing Carl because I wear a fucking mask, and all you fucking idiots didn't know that this is actually Carl. I'm Carl.
Shit, no, I'm bearing that. That's awful.
That's bad.
That's awful. The fact that you said this is Carl 15 times.
I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
Hey, Chad's a fucking idiot. He's a fucking dummy. Chad, you're fucking dumb.
That's like one of those Joe Piscopo fucking impressions. Like, hey, I'm Rodney Dangerfield, and I get no respect.
Yes, I know. I have to think of different things.
I'm Hughezy.
Exactly. I'm sorry. Yes. Dave, I'll give you back your $5 because no, I actually do not do a perfect Carl.
it's apparently a work in progress because he's got his moments.
Oh, Dave Dalford, thank you again for $5. Worth every penny. I stink. I have to come up with a script of Carl impression. Exactly. I can't.
Exactly. There you go.
Exactly.
Also say acrossed. I don't know if that's a word, but Carl says acrossed, which bugs the shit out of me.
Cardiff.
Hey, it's Cardiff. Cardiff's on.
You insane? This is insane.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Dave Dalfer. I'm glad that you felt that was worth every penny because I feel like I failed you. All right. So this young-looking man right here, this is Vince Russo. He would look like anyone's, Uncle Vinny. And you'll be able to tell who Jim Cornette is because he's a geeky looking, hayseed.
For you steel toe fans or non-fans out there, a lot of people compare Aaron to Jim Cornette look-wise.
Aaron wears a Jim Cornette shirt too. He wore it this week. All right, let's get into this. So this kind of builds up that these two don't really like each other.
I mean, any final thoughts on Jim?
I've ignored him for years, and it's on and on.
It's my personal enjoyment at this advanced age to remind everybody at every opportunity that he's a liar.
That's Jim.
Freaking wrestling. It means nothing.
I will live to piss on his grave. Even if I'm in a walker, my wife already has instructions. She's out of the will. If she doesn't get me there, if I'm not ambulatory, I'll find Vince Russo's grave and I will piss on it. And there will be a picture of that hanging on my wall when I pass away. And hate is a hell of a motivator.
Yeah, that would be after he finished watching his wife suck someone's dick.
Yeah. Look, I just realized why OJ loves Jim Cornette. The whole pissing thing there.
Yeah. There you go.
That is a very good observation, Aussie.
I've loved Jim Cornette for many years. I agree with his take on wrestling. Again, it has nothing to do with anything other than his philosophy on wrestling.
But out of those two human beings, just there, I get it. I get you like Jim, and I do too. Don't get me wrong. I like Jim Cornette, and I do like his philosophies on wrestling. But out of those two individuals there, who seemed stable and being like, who gives a shit about this, and who seemed like they were a bit out of their mind?
Oh, there's no question that Jim's unstable. I mean, he admits it. He's got he's worked on it over the years. He's got an anger management problem. Yeah. So I mean.
Although I've got to say that about Russo, maybe the day you're being interviewed isn't the time to start growing in a handlebar mustache.
That was a bizarre decision.
I want to make it clear. I don't hate Vince Russo. I think I used to. I think because of Cornette, just talking so much shit about him. I at this point in my life, I don't hate Vince Russo, the man. I've actually used to watch some of his shows here and there, but
you know what I have to say about Russo, and this is something that drove a lot of his critics insane, is that there's the guy Bruce Pritchard that does the big podcast, Something to Wrestle With, and they went off on this big rant on the show, but Russo fucked this up and he did this wrong, and it all went wrong because of this, and it was going crazy all over the Twitterverse. Then The Rock had to fucking get on Twitter and publicly defend Vince Russo. That's how crazy it got, that The Rock had to stop making excellent films such as Jungle Cruise, Baywatch, Doom, Be Cool, and fucking Jungle Cruise 2, which is in production, so that he could defend Vince Russo. And Moana.
Dr. Spaghetti Tooth John, thank you for the $10 super chat. Thank you for the great content. Just like Jake Hudson, you're my second favorite podcast.
That's a $9.99, so I get $4.48.50 out of that.
No, BeDabblin Live has a strict no paying guests anymore policy. Again, this is an OJ policy. I wish there was something I could do about it, but unfortunately, I cannot.
After OJ caused all that controversy about wanting to get paid by you back in the day.
He did not start that controversy. Someone else did.
I heard you don't like a certain group of people.
Italians. They smell. Yeah. They're greasy. They're obviously sweaty. Ray DeVito. They stink, and I don't like them.
Yeah, cuck.
Yeah, cuck. All right.
I can't even do it now. Like it's pointless me doing it.
So, OJ was saying about Jim Cornette's just philosophy on wrestling, his style. Here's a clip Kinky Loco sent over, which will explain a little more of that. This is from the 90s when he was on the WWF booking team, whatever you would call it.
This is Jim Cornette, and the views that I'm about to express are not necessarily those of anybody else but me, but they ought to be, and as a matter of fact, they probably are.
Cut my wife.
In the wrestling world, make me funky these
That
days,
is, I have to look
especially
more
the way
into that.
Some talent is treated and some talent is looked at by not only the promoters, but the wrestling fans as well. For example, a man like Arn Anderson, who just had to retire from this sport after giving it his entire life because of an injury that he suffered. A guy like Nature Boy Ric Flair, who in my opinion is one of the greatest talents in the history of this business.
Ric Flair
Guys
doesn't
like
get enough.
Mankind, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, whatever you want to call him.
Well, I guess
Great
this was
talents in the WWF or WCW.
Not at the time. Flair's getting shit on in the booking.
Guys like the NWO, the New World Order. All
you pause?
You guys are so cool and so sweet and so funny.
I just gotta always plug this, that I interviewed Eric Bischoff once, and it was right before my birthday, and as a gift he made me an official NWO member. So
New World Order.
That is
there you
tremendous.
go. So I'm in the group.
Wow, you're like the 580th member of
the
NWO towards the end there. It
Are you
seemed
the
like
first Irish
everyone was in.
member of the NWO?
Yes, I am.
Oh, that
No,
is
'cause
an honor.
Half of America calls themselves Irish, so no, he's not.
Yeah, but I've actually get the head of her, so I am Irish.
Dr. Spaghetti Tooth John, thank you for the $2 super chat. You have to write it on a paper plate to get paid. Yes, those are binding contracts. When you write.
What if I do the square, the bit of paper towel, and write your name, put it on the wall of fun?
Sure.
Spaghetti Tooth John is the greatest screen name I've ever seen. Like, I don't even know what it means, but it's hilarious.
John once broke his tooth. He claimed on a piece of spaghetti.
Pesto.
Have you not heard that, Hughezy?
Yeah, how could
Have you not heard that?
I love cocaine too much. I don't remember a lot of shit.
But yeah, I wanted
As
to.
far as I'm concerned,
I just want to say, yeah, at the time you asked Ric Flair wasn't getting recognition. Yes, at the time, this is when the NWO was like on top of the world, and
and they're just shitting on everybody.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
sorry, Chad.
the NWO was like a bunch of guys meeting out in the backyard in a clubhouse in a tree. They're guys who they got the easiest job in the world. All they have to do is go out there and be themselves. Childish, obnoxious, adolescent guys with a case of severe arrested emotional development and a fixation on.
OJ, would he have been saying this if he was working for WCW at the time, you think?
If they allowed him, like he was just the way this started, if memory serves me correctly, is he was just ranting like this is just how he talks to people about stuff. So they put it on camera. Oh, you know what? They did it for they had a brand new .com, WWF.com, and they were putting content on there. And I think he cut a promo similar to this, stuck it on there, and it had like the most views of anything on the internet at the time for wrestling. So Vince decided like, hey, if it's working on there, do it on here. So yeah, it is rare for anyone at the time for the WWF to ever acknowledge other companies. So this was
at the time, because he's talking about the NWO. At the time, WCW was on top. WCW was dominating WWF at the time, and so it was kind of a shot across the bow kind of thing. What I find interesting about what Jim Cornette was just saying about calling him childish and all of that, like. We just heard this man at like 57 years of age talking about pissing on another man's grave. And
That's
he was talking
awesome,
about
though.
being childish. Like,
I
it's
love
great.
that.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I think it's hilarious that he's like this, but you know, you've got to point out the hypocrisy of the man.
Yes, I understand your point.
Yeah, and Conan has said that Cornette is known behind the scenes for being fake, like he's all in character, like he's not actually the way he is, but he knows how to make money from it, and he's making a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Who's making a lot of money?
Cornette. I've heard he's making.
Cornette. It's huge, man. Like he's got a lot of.
Oh, Cornette, not
Yeah,
Conan. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
Cornette's making a high 5 figures off YouTube per month.
I believe it.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of views.
To be fair, Conan's making money because Hughezy's making money, which means Conan's making money because there's no way Hughes is making money if Conan's not.
Viva la raza!
Yeah.
Olale!
Orale!
Rey de Vito!
Hashtag send Mike Durbin his shit.
Yeah. Call me as cucks.
Trying to act macho. You got a guy like Kevin Nash, 40 years old, trying to act like a teenager. As far as I'm concerned, the biggest no talent in the business. He's got 6 moves, no mobility, and enough timing to cover up for some of it. But what he does is he goes around and he manipulates. Kevin Nash had a multi-million-dollar promotional company, the WWF, push him to the moon to make him a star, and then what does he do?
Listen
he
to
leaves
Jim Cornette
after he gives his word to stay,
talk
so by the
about
way, he's a liar
anything.
too. He leaves, he goes to WCW for a big contract.
He's entertaining.
Why? More on that later.
Jim
You got a
Cornette
guy like
outlived
Scott Hall,
Kevin
who's a good
Nash's
wrestler,
son.
but good's about it.
I mean, I'm just saying it's a
And
terrible loss, but it's a shocker.
I'm pretty sure Kevin Nash's son's dying wish was to see this channel hit at least 10,000 subscribers.
Yes,
It is
my
true.
channel.
No, I thought he wanted to see the piss come out of Cornette's dick on the gravestone.
He's the best of the bunch, but he had the same $1 million promotional company
You're
make
horrible.
him a star after he'd been in this business
You're
10
El
years
Horrible.
without putting 3 asses in
Horrible,
the seat.
you're
And what does he do?
horrible.
He goes to WCW for a big
Arriba.
contract. Why? More on that later. And then you got a guy, 6, 1, 2, 3 kid. His name's Sean Waltman, whatever you want to call him. Well, as far as
You're
I'm
exposing
concerned,
the
only reason
business.
that he's employed is because the other guys think that he's funny when he gets drunk and throws up on himself. He has the distinction, in case you haven't noticed, of being the only guy since this wrestling war got started that was released from a valid contract from one company
Man,
to
do I
go to
miss
the other
this era
side,
of
which shows you how
wrestling.
valuable he is. You know why they're all employed, why they're all in the spot they are today? Because of Eric.
The 1, 2, 3 kid would later go on to split his taint years later.
Yeah, my
he
God.
fucking broke his asshole on the Bronco Buster.
The only
It's
person
phenomenal.
the only person in history to rape himself.
Oh my
I
God! I,
thought-
think. Oh
God!
And he didn't even know until he got back to his room.
And his tights were all full of
he
blood.
kept his tights on the entire
Oh.
time, and then he almost bled out in his room.
Oh my God! How do you not know you like busted your taint open? And
Yeah. How do you
And you know
party?
he also injected meth by using toilet water. There you go. I've heard that story too.
What?
Yeah.
Fuck Janet Jameson though.
The boss of WC.
What about Jenna Jameson?
6 fucked her.
Did he really?
Yeah.
No, that was China. That was China.
No, he fucked her too.
Oh,
yeah.
And I think he sucked her dick as well.
Yeah.
That was my favorite X-Pac was when he was 6 in the NWO. I thought
I
was my
thought you were
favorite.
gonna say when he was sucking China's dick.
Yeah, that was
exactly.
my second favorite.
Have any of you guys seen any of China's porn?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the one where she's dressed up as fucking She-Hulk, but the size of her, she could just be the Hulk.
Dude, I've watched Caitlin Hatley porn, so.
Whoa.
And Sunny. You guys watch the Sunny stuff?
Oh
Yeah, that was disgusting. She looked like she
I
should have been
know.
fucking fixing lawnmowers instead of sucking on the dick.
I know, but I just kept trying to think of her as she was. Like I was like, if someone told me back in like 1993, hey, in 30 years you can see video of her banging dudes like hardcore.
Yeah.
Like I would totally have done it. It's just I wouldn't have expected her to look like my
Her
third
looks
grade bus driver.
Her looks really didn't last all that long.
Well, that's what happens when you do a whole bunch of drugs.
Yeah,
and booze
that's-
for
it's
fucking
weird.
30 years.
Yeah, her looks didn't last the 90s.
Yeah, right. No, they didn't.
exactly.
They really didn't. But she was
Not the NWO.
definitely
Look at
the first hot chick I ever paid attention to in wrestling. And she also never wrestled, which was great. Nah, Miss Elizabeth. She just didn't. She didn't seem very sexual to me, Miss Elizabeth.
Can you blame her? Look who her husband was.
That's true.
I want you to come watch Kumi's Cucks with me. Yeah.
We got a super chat from Softcast.
Ooh. Thank you very much for the $2 Softcast. $2 because I'm watching you on 2 platforms. Yes, I
Yeah.
noticed there's like a lot of TikTok chat activity. So thank you that. And it seems to be all Little Lemmy's people. So thank you all for joining us today. I appreciate that. I hope you guys like this nonsense.
You cack.
You cucks. Okay, this clip is almost done. We're almost at the end. He was talking about X-Pac or 6 or 1, 2, 3 Kid, whatever you want to name him. And
the credits on their pay-per-view if you can get one for free. The idiot's name is on it. He's the boss of WCW. He works for Ted Turner, and he throws a billionaire's money around just like water so that he can have guys that he likes to
talking
hang
about
out
Eric
with.
Bischoff.
Because even more than being a mark, for his own face and his own voice, Eric Bischoff is a guy who's a big fan of hanging around studly guys with long hair and beards that smoke cigars and ride Harleys so that some of that can rub off on his little pansy-ass frame. So he takes that billionaire's money and he throws it around like water to buy guys that he can hang around with to prove that his Johnson is bigger than everybody else. And that's the sole reason that the NWO guys are employed. I think, me personally, that it's about time that the wrestling fans and the promoters, all of them in this business, started recognizing guys like Nature Boy Ric Flair, like Arn Anderson, like Cactus Jack, guys who bust their ass, who work hard and have ability and have talent to get where they are, instead of a bunch of guys that get to their spot by hanging around with the boss and sucking up. I'm Jim Cornette, and that's my opinion.
See, when you hear anybody get passionate about a fake fighting industry thing like that, it's pathetic. Like, even if they're making good points, it's like, it's fake fighting. You have guys pretending to be sea creatures and zombies and fucking turtles, and you're going, yeah, this is good shit. It's like, no, it's rubbish. It's only good to get really stoned or to get drunk and go to the show and hackle until a security says, you know, you can't say the N-word at the show, and they go, kiss my face.
You're right, though. At the end of the day, it's all ridiculousness. It's all just entertainment. It's all entertainment is fake. So everyone, please know that.
Yeah, like that'll be like if I ran into this room and I go, "You guys are all a bunch of losers. I know more about Pixar than you ever will. So don't you tell me how cartoons should be." Like it's like okay, yeah, cucks.
Dave Dallafor, thank you for the $5. Note to self. Chad will always suck.
Well, no, he's a good friend of mine.
What would
you talking about Zumok? Sorry.
Oh yeah. Dean, if Tony Michaels was here right now, what would he say about Chad Zumok?
He does a shitty show called Kill Me As Gex.
Drive in, drive out, drive
Drive in, drive out, drive through.
All right. So now we're going to get into a little bit about Cornette explaining the first time he fought with Vince Russo. I guess they had been... All right, let me play that.
Fought, yeah.
You know,
Jim Cornette fighting is just yelling a bunch of swear words.
Yeah, and you always know Jim Cornette's line because all of his stories end with how he get the last word or how he outsmarted everyone. So it's like, yeah, well, it didn't happen then.
Yeah, every time you saw, like, obviously Jim Cornette doesn't seem like a guy who could really handle himself, like, if he had to fight any of these people. Just by seeing him, like, in the ring, like, he just seems like...
Well, that was the thing about Cornette, like, he'd smash the back windscreen of a car or whatever with a baseball bat to make people think he's insane,
right,
so that they wouldn't fuck with him. They're like, this guy's insane, he'll smash the back window, but he won't actually touch you, you know what I mean? He just wants
he did slap Santino Morella a few times.
Well, that's true.
But by the way, have you seen what Santino Morella's daughter looks like?
Yeah,
I would let her give me AIDS.
Really?
Oh my God, it's almost I would be her cock anytime she wanted.
Just think, no, I have not seen pictures of her. All right, let's play this.
She's a hooah.
That was over China's match.
Allegedly.
That one time we had
Take
the
that
thing in the
out.
hallway and he went to Vince on me.
It was China against who?
I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Because we had a Monday Night Raw, 2 hours long. There were 8 matches. We did the production meeting, and 6 of the matches were going to end in disqualification. And I'm shaking my head already.
This was a house show. So basically what he's saying is he got the script for the show. And what was it? Out of 8 matches, 6 of them were going to end in disqualification? Or was that TV?
I think he said it was a Monday Night Raw.
But okay.
I'm interested to see how this ends up in Vince Russo deserving to die.
Okay, so yeah, let me back up a little bit.
2 hours long. There were 8 matches. We did the production meeting.
It was for Raw.
And 6 of the matches were going to end in disqualification.
That's crazy.
And I'm shaking my head already, right? So I'm one of the agents, and whatever matches I had, and not only Raw matches, but we did other stuff that night. So I'm flittering around, And by the way, I was never an agent for China for any of her matches because I was never an agent for
China.
involving Michaels and Helmsley because Vince already knew how I
Big
felt
tits
about them
and
after
a
the curtain
huge
call. So I
cunt.
was relieved from having anything. It was always either Jack Lanza or Pat Patterson if it was a pay-per-view or whatever. So I never had to fucking work with that group as the agent, and I was happy with that. I was over with the guys that were more serious about the wrestling business and not being divas or prima donnas. But one of the production assistants comes up because I've got the Raw format and I'm working off of it. And if there's any changes, you're supposed to be told. And they've changed the finish. What? In China's match with one of the girls. It was a match with a girl. And what is it? No, because something happened. She was going to lose.
Hang on.
There was going to be some fucking business. I think she.
This story's fake because China never wrestled. But while Russo was there anyway.
Is that true? I don't know. I can't. Yeah, what do you mean?
What are you talking about? She was in the Royal Rumble in '99.
Yeah, but she didn't wrestle the women.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. No, she didn't. Not at that time. No,
He
you're
did
right.
say involving one of the girls. Just like to point that out.
Yeah, but he said it was a match, so it would have been. It sounded like it was against a female wrestler. Who were even the female wrestlers?
Sable,
Billy Gunn,
Jackie.
Oh yeah.
Now see that Jackie? I remember her. I'd like to give her a kiss at the movies, if you know what I'm saying.
You would eat her.
He was going to lose it.
Fuck.
They changed it to a DQ. I said, what? Yeah, Triple H went in and talked to Russo. Oh, God damn it. So I go and I find Russo in the hallway. I said, Vince, I said, you just made another one a DQ. Now we've got 7 DQs out of 8 matches on this program. And it wasn't even who was in it. It was just the idea of that's ridiculous, right? It's just garbage, lazy booking. And he looked at me when I said, we've got 7 out of 8 DQs now. Do we need to do this? He said, DQ, schmeq, nobody cares, and turned around like he was going to walk off from me.
That is hysterical.
It's pretty funny.
That's great, and I got to give it to Vince. And I know OJ's got to defend Cornette here and stuff, but I don't remember any fucking Raw matches or SmackDown matches or whatever. Who gives a shit? You're watching Raw or SmackDown to like develop the story. I'm totally with
As a
Vince
fan
on this.
back then, I would have been disappointed in seeing 7 DQs out of 8 matches.
I never really noticed the results of the matches because I was too busy fucking. Because I used to watch it always when I was
jacking off.
Yeah, jerking it.
It sounds like we grew up in 2 different wrestling eras. I grew up.
Well, you grew up
when it was a little
during
more realistic.
integration with the black people. So
Right.
That's because you're a cook, brother. You're over there cooking it up for the headlocks and the stuff, all that shit, brother. You're a cook.
So you remember Gorgeous George and shit like that. I get it. You know what I mean? It was much more pure back
Not
then.
Gorgeous George, Texas wrestling. It was the psychology again. The psychology of wrestling started changing in the 90s, and it's just
and it became.
And that's why it sucks now. I mean, that's why wrestling is horrible now because it was like magic. Once you figured out magic wasn't real, it kind of
once the toothpaste out of the tube. I agree with that. It's fucking garbage now, but you still get little pieces of magic. Like I think Roman Reigns is fucking great right now, and everything going on with the bloodline, I think is entertaining stuff. But you catch lightning in a bottle every now and then. But other than that, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had a clue when I was a kid that it kind of was maybe fake when the Undertaker was supposed to be a zombie.
Right. I just got to make that point too. WWF was the last promotion I liked. I did not. Personally, I never liked the sports entertainment aspect of the business.
Cock.
Or the Undertaker versus the Undertaker. That was pretty.
You're a cock.
I'm so glad everyone stayed quiet.
We got to flip that.
I know. That's what I was just about to say. I'm so glad everyone stayed quiet. I was going to say hour 19. I like that. Thank you for that.
Great.
That was great. Thank you for that. And thank you for everyone else for remaining quiet. That was great.
7 DQs out of 8 matches on this program.
So
And it wasn't
I do. So at first, when you hear, listen, if you were going to a wrestling event and someone told you, hey, 7 out of the 8 matches are going to end in a DQ, you'd probably go, that kind of sucks. But I'm kind of with you guys. I don't give a shit what the outcome of the match is normally. I don't remember most of them. And you're right. Like Monday Night Raw is just supposed to.
I could give you a witness testimony to that. I went to a WCW Thunder here in Cleveland, and they had a DQ'd the last match, and the fans were so pissed they bombed the ring with beer.
And Stuttering John ran into the ring with his mouth open.
Well, that's
I went to a big show here in Australia a few years back, and I went there just because The Undertaker was on the card, and I was like, I got to see The Undertaker before he retires. I couldn't tell you the finish of any match on that card. I don't even remember if The Undertaker won that night. I'm pretty sure he did. He wrestled Triple H. I'm pretty sure he won, but I don't fucking remember. Who gives a shit? It's about
that's the problem. It's gone to sports entertainment. Back in the day, it was promoted as a sport.
You know, kids and your flippity flips.
It's still real to me, damn it.
It's not real to me anymore.
All right, let's keep going.
Even who was in it, it was just the idea of that's ridiculous, right? It's just garbage, lazy booking. And he looked at me when I said we've got 7 out of 8 DQs now. Do we need to do this? He said, DQ, schmeq, nobody cares, and turned around like he was going to walk off from me.
That is
I swear that's a quote. I swear it's a quote. And now, see, here's the thing. I had gone over to him in the corner, in the hall, in the arena. People are walking around, but we're having a quiet discussion. Well, I said, we got 7 DQs. And it's loudly and with a look on his face and like he knows something about wrestling that I don't, which is goddamn ridiculous. And just DQ, schmeq, nobody cares, and starts to walk away. And that's when I said, well, I tell you what, motherfucker, you're going to care in about a year and a half when you're back running a fucking video store because you put this whole place out of business. And all the boys heard that. And instead of coming back and getting in my face and asking me if I wanted to say anything further, or could we settle this, or do we need to go out in the parking lot, or I'm sorry, or boo to a goose, or anything, he just puts his fucking tail between his legs and slinks off down the hallway and goes to Vince's office and says, Vince, Cornette was yelling at me and talking down to me in front of the boys. So then Vince goes and gets JR. Says, JR, go find out why Cornette's talking down to Vince Russo and yelling at him in front of the boys. So JR, a few minutes later, comes up to me. What are you doing talking and yelling at Vince Russo in front of the boys? I said, I'll tell you exactly what happened. And I told him exactly what was said and everything I just said to you. I said, we were talking quiet. He decides to bow up at me. I'm not going to fucking take it. He's a piece of shit. If he's got anything to say to me, he can say it to me personally. But that's why it happened, and I'm not apologizing to anybody. And JR goes back and tells Vince McMahon, yeah, Cornette was fucking registering his consternation that we had 7 DQs on the program, and Vince got loud and Cornette got louder. And Vince McMahon believed that, and that was the last I heard of it. But it like fucking DQ, schmeq, nobody cared. And by the way, I was off by 9 months. 9 months. And Vince, because I said in a year and a half or 2 years or whatever, and it was 2 years and like 9 months, Vince Russo was back running a video store in Atlanta after he had put WCW out of business. Anyway.
All right.
And he was also off by the wrong company.
Yeah, exactly. That was what I was going to point out. WWE went public, 2 years later, and became a multi-billion-dollar company. But yeah, and Vince ended up going to TNA and having another great run with TNA. But
great run.
What's great about it, OJ? Do you not?
That's a stretch.
What the TNA run? They got to a point where they had 2 million viewers when Kurt Angle went there and stuff, and Vince was the head booker at the time. So no bullshit. He did all right in TNA. But OJ, listening to Jim Cornette there, you don't see any parallels with Stuttering John. I said this, and then I said
see
this, and
more
then this
parallels
person
with
agreed.
Vince Russo and Stuttering John.
But no, but just listen.
Two guys that should have never been in the business that they were in, both working for players that were at the top of the business. Stuttering John with Stern, Russo with McMahon. Neither one really, they got the bigger breaks than they should have had. Stuttering John goes to Leno, Russo goes to TNA and WCW, and they never, and that's it. And they're two guys that
I'm just talking about the words we just heard, OJ. Jim Cornette sitting there going, I said this, and then this, and then he agreed with me, and then he went and said this, and everyone agreed with me, and we're all happy, and that's fucking Stuttering John to a T.
Yeah, but you can't compare the two. Cornette, whether you like him or not, he's a really intelligent guy, and Stuttering John is.
I want to break something to you, AJ. Whether you like Stuttering John and Vince Russo or not, they achieved a lot.
Oh yeah, I'm not denying.
You know what I mean? Like you can't just dismiss what they did. Vince Russo wrote that the entire Stone Cold run, the Austin McMahon feud.
He didn't write the wrestling matches, and he didn't write, the way that Stone Cold was presenting himself. He came up with some ideas. Okay, he had a beer truck come out. A lot of his ideas were stolen from ECW. I'm just not. You can't convince me that the guy was a great writer. It was trash. It was crash TV.
But then Jim Cornette's the guy who wanted to make a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tag team.
And I got to point this out too. Like Stuttering John didn't understand the comedy business and doesn't understand the comedy business. Vince Russo doesn't understand the wrestling business. He's admitted that. He doesn't want to know the psychology. He never wanted to know how the matches went. He just wanted to write stupid skits. That's it.
So what did you think about Jim Cornette's match with the Ninja Turtle? Seriously.
I mean, not a fan.
No, but Cornette's a genius, though, isn't he?
I mean, dude, you could point to one thing out of a million things with anybody. This was This
you want to dismiss this entire period that Vince Russo was writing that was like such a highly rated, popular period in wrestling. You want to dismiss it, but then I point out something that Jim Cornette did, which is embarrassing.
This is embarrassing.
Yeah,
but in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, Jim Cornette wrestled a turtle. He did.
Sure, that's fine. I mean, dude,
he booked it.
I'm not dismissing it.
Vince Russo didn't book this. He didn't book Turtles.
I had no idea Jim Cornette had anything to do with this.
Yeah,
not specifically this. I don't know if this was Cornette, but in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, Jim Cornette wrestled a turtle. He did.
Yeah, and Jim Cornette wanted to have Batista be like a sea creature character.
I actually thought of that earlier.
Batista would have to walk out, get in this like giant tub in front of the fans, and then climb out of the water again, pretend as if he lived in the water. Like
when you talk about the two's bodies of work, sure, you can point to a few things here and there with that Cornette did that were like head scratching, but you look at Vince Russo's entire career, and it's basically the Ninja Turtles wrestling somebody.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Russo's never.
You're dismissing everything Russo did. You can't dismiss.
No, I'm not. What did he do? What did he do?
Survivor Series,
skits.
The Rock,
Survivor Series '98. Go to Survivor Series '98, the Deadly Game tournament, where The Rock wins the world title. Vince Russo was responsible for all of that. That is a phenomenal pay-per-view. Beautifully put together, and then the whole Austin McMahon feud, the whole Rock Mankind feud,
that was all Steve Austin.
Yeah, it was all Austin. He came up with
Steve
it all.
Austin would have taken
off
in the WWF without Vince Russo there.
Hold on 1 second. I think we have a caller. You're on the air.
What's up? How you doing, BeDabbler?
Oh, hey, how's it going, Jake?
You're not getting any super chats, champ. All right.
What'd you want to add to this?
I just want to say, by the way, what's up, Hughezy? How you doing?
See ya.
Yeah, Hughezy.
Yeah, sorry, I can't say your name, but, why didn't you bring me in the conversation when we're talking about Vince Russo?
Because you don't
I'm bringing
know
you in right now. What do you want to say? You're in.
By the way, are we going to talk about the World Wrestling All Stars that that wanted against Russo?
No.
Hey, Jake, what's your favorite Red Hot Chili Peppers song?
Yes, I was going to say that. Someone needs to do a version of the Chili Peppers song with Jake going, by the way. Yeah.
They wanted Vince to come and work in Australia, but he couldn't, so he sent his butt buddy, Mr. Jeremy Borash, who now works for WWE.
Okay, thanks for your call, Jake. See ya.
I appreciate that,
Damn
Jake.
it.
Thank you. All right. Jake
Yeah.
calling in. Jake adding his 2 cents in the Russo argument, I guess.
Yeah, 2 cents that somebody had to fucking super chat to him.
So, all right. So after multiple incidents of butting heads with Russo, as well as a major fight with Kevin Dunn, where Cornette threatened to physically assault him in front of everyone, Jim Cornette was removed from the booking committee in 1997, and he eventually was sent away to OVW, which was the WWE's then farming system for new talent. And like you said, he trained or helped train John Cena, Batista, and Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar during his time.
Benjamin, a few others.
Yeah, but those are probably the most popular names. Russo would be promoted to head writer, with Vince McMahon being the only one with veto power on his writing. That's interesting. So what was Kevin Dunn back then? Because I know now, Kevin Dunn has always kind of been Vince McMahon's right-hand man, right? Or am I wrong on that?
He's the production. He's the guy's in charge of the production.
Production, okay. He has nothing to do with booking.
No, he'd be like the guy that came up with all those incredible shots for Ray DeVito's rap video.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah, like when AJ Styles debuts in the Royal Rumble, and as his music hits and the thing comes on the Titantron, Kevin Dunn hits Roman Reigns' face because that's what everyone needed at that time.
Sure. All right, so this next clip is Russo explaining why Cornette hates him so much. Context for his more laid-back bro personality. Bro.
Yeah, bro. I just want to clarify one thing, Chris, please, because
bro,
clarify.
Do not have any heat with Jim Cornette.
Does not have heat with
it is 100% one. I just want to make. I am too old, bro, to have heat with anybody. I don't
Bro.
like for clarification.
Old bro.
You're really gonna find this hard.
Bless you.
Off the bat,
Please hit your cough button.
One of the issues Jim Cornette had with me, bro.
Cut that
I'm just being
out.
honest with you, bro. Where I'm from, I'm a New Yorker.
I'm a New Yorker.
Yeah, this pisses me off.
Yorker.
He's like the Geico gecko. This is New York.
Yeah, this pisses me off about Vince.
And
This is where I'll come
Italians
over.
in general.
Yes, like they all do it. Like,
They're all gross.
I'm from New York, bro. I'm honest, bro.
Right.
Like, no, you're a dick.
Yeah, I think that also adds to me. I don't want to say hatred, but me disliking him so much is that vocabulary. I can't stand it. It's very annoying.
Vince is. I do think Vince is entertaining. I've listened to a bunch of Vince, and he's a genuinely nice guy. He really is.
I agree with you. I totally agree. I used to watch some of his shows. Shuley, the BS show actually started on Vince Russo's network.
Wouldn't it be funny if he said cuck instead of bro?
He would have been way ahead of his time.
Yeah, the problem with Jim Cornette, cuck, is that I'm a New Yorker, cuck. And
So
he
yeah,
doesn't-
all you fans out there of the BS show with Shuley and Levy, that actually did start on Vince Russo's network.
They did. That's true.
Oh, we got a super sticker from the Saint David Chandler.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much, David Chandler, for a $50 super sticker.
So what's that? 24.
Stop doing math.
Absolutely
It's not needed.
Hates them. So off the bat, I represent something he despises. Wow.
Yeah,
On
someone
top
that
of
doesn't let other
bro,
people bang his wife.
I wasn't in the business for 40 years before I came head writer. I took a different road, and he really, really despises that. On top of that, I'm more
I need to look into that.
entertainment orientated. He really
It's fact.
despises that. It's all
I believe it. I've just listened. Obviously, I've listened to a lot of Jim Cornette, and I've never heard him admit to it, but I need to hear him admit to that.
He didn't explicitly say I watch other men fuck my wife, but he said he these allegations came out about what him and his wife are up to, and then he said my wife and I like to have our fun in like so he never denied it. He never denied it.
I think
You know
I
what I mean?
do remember something along those lines now that you're saying it that way. Yeah.
Something about a hot tub. That's what I
Yeah,
remember.
it's exactly the hot tub, and also
All right.
people that are familiar with OVW, you know the saying "ugly as sin."
Yes,
that's SYNN.
Oh boy!
Thank you.
Which,
AJ.
for those of you who don't know, that's Jim Cornette's wife's wrestling name when she was a wrestler.
Yeah, she is rough.
That's a harsh-looking woman. I was gonna say.
She looks like she knows a lot about bowling.
OJ, pull up a picture.
Bro, like it's all wrestling, related. Chris, it's very funny because here's the difference, I think, between me and Jim Cornette. Bro, when you look at my wrestling background, when you look at your wrestling background, anybody's wrestling background, what is it all based on? Where you grew up. Mm-hmm. I grew up on the WWF. That's what I grew up on. So that's what I saw. Jim Cornette, grew up in Kentucky. Mm-hmm. Eric Bischoff was in Minnesota.
Kentucky.
Bill was in Texas. Jerry Jarrett was in Tennessee. Yeah. And bro, that's how I always looked at it because bro, all those people I mentioned,
by the way,
I've been.
Well, who said does Vince? Yeah, there we go.
I love Guns N' Roses, don't you? Look at that. She's such a whore. She's even fingering herself in the photograph.
She's a flatso too. Look at
Holy
that.
shit.
Yeah. That looks like Mike Bichetti doing a Ray DeVito sketch.
That's really his wife?
Yeah. And that's the fist that she sits on.
Oh my God. That's shocking. All right, so Vince Russo eventually left WWE for WCW in 1999 when he was offered more money in the head writer position. Russo, without anyone to punch up or fine-tune his writing the way he had in WWF, is often remembered during this time for his over-the-top shoot storylines with frequent championship changes and swerve endings. Would you agree with Kinky Loco's assessment on that, gentlemen?
I would.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a fair assessment.
He remained until 2001 when WCW was bought out and his contract was terminated. He would ultimately end up in TNA Wrestling in 2002 as a creative writer. He would be fired from this position in November of 2004. In May 2005, Cornette got into a physical altercation with then trainee Santino Morello at OVW, which you had someone had mentioned earlier. Santino had laughed during a live taping during a segment where he was supposed to look frightening, which in Cornette's mind ruined the show and made a mockery of the company. It is said Jim slapped Santino over a dozen times, with Santino refusing to fight back and bystanders having to pull Jim away. He was immediately fired by WWF after this happened, Jim Cornette.
I gotta say, I don't think he was slapped 12 times.
Yeah,
I think he was paintbrushed just maybe 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah, it was over, again, a ridiculous gimmick. The WWF invested in this older guy. He went by the Boogeyman, and he would eat worms, and he was a ridiculous character. But the talent that was learning at OVW, they were scattered in the crowd. They were supposed to act scared. Santino's new there with his kid. He didn't realize he was supposed to run from the guy.
Yeah.
And Cornette took offense to that. And yeah, it was kind of ridiculous at the end of the day. But
awkwardly, that kid grew up to be one of the hottest whoas online.
But also, Santino Morello could just twist Jim Cornette into a pretzel.
Oh, absolutely.
To tremendous restraint from him to actually just take the slap or two that he got. And yeah.
Bert's great. Bert's are great. Thank you for $2. Drink every time Russo says bro.
We will be hammered drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bert's, if you want to see somebody do that, check out what was it called? MudShark Loves Company last night on. He did that without even having to hear Russo say, "Bro, Zumark was ossified."
He absolutely was. The next year, Jim Cornette was hired as an on-air figurehead character by TNA. Cornette stated part of the reason he accepted the job was because he knew Russo had already been fired, so he didn't have to worry about him ever working there again. To his dismay, however, Russo was rehired just a few months after Cornette started, which brings us to clip number 5. Unless you guys have anything to say about what I just said, which was what Kinky Loco wrote. Which again, Kinky Loco, thank you for this bit.
No, and no, that all sounds
work.
correct. And this is where the feud actually heats up, is in TNA.
I'm sitting at home one day and Dutch calls me, right? And it was September, and Dutch calls me, and
Dutch is the guy with the big
Dutch
mustache.
Mantel.
Yeah,
Dutch what was it? Zeb Coulter, I think he was. He was Jack Swagger's
Swagger. Yeah, they did that like
WWE.
conservative angle.
We the people.
Yeah. We the people.
it's phony stuff.
Do you have?
Jimmy
Sorry.
made some changes.
Yes.
Do you, I would love to say I've seen it a million times, but the where Jim Cornette's drinking Sprite and he's like, "Fuck you, Vince Russo," and he just I'd love to play that clip because it's pretty unhinged. But carry on.
OJ, can you find that clip? Because I don't think that clip is a part of this.
Yeah, I'll try to find it. I believe I know what he's talking about. I think it's from the Sprite was like one of the first shoot interviews Cornette did.
Exactly. Yeah. Just reminded me. Sorry.
If you do.
I
mean, we're already going along, so maybe
I can't do Dutch, but you can imagine. Jimmy made some changes in the creative team. I said, okay. I said, we fired everybody but me and Jeff. I said, well, there's a start for you. That's good. Because
Jeff is Jeff Jarrett.
I'm not knocking anybody else that was involved with it, but when you got a room full of people, you got a room full, it's a Tower of Babel. It's just everybody natter, right? You need a guy and the guy helping the guy, and that's what you need to book wrestling. He said, we hired one guy. I said, who's that? He said, Vince Russo. And see this face, please.
Hey, my friend has that shirt.
I actually did this accidentally. I can't do it again.
The same friend who told me about the titty band has that shirt.
All right, you hit your goal of mentions.
What? Yes. I said, what?
We hit the goal.
One of the reasons why I had agreed to come to work for the company was I thought that I was safe because he'd already been there and been fired. And so I thought, okay, we've got past that, and I'll, and I was dumbfounded, actually speechless, Jim Cornette for a minute. And he said, well, and I can't remember what he said because I was in shock. I was like PTSD was, and I said, tell Jeff to call me, right? So Jeff don't call you very often. I worked for him for 3 years. I think he called me on the phone like 5 times. We'd see each other, but he doesn't call.
What was it?
That
comment.
Either that day or the next day.
Yes.
This is one of the. I don't know that Cornette ever has, but this is one of the most insane things.
Read it.
That people hate Russo for. Doesn't Cornette blame Russo for Owen's death? So Owen Hart plummeted 80 feet to his death over the age of 99. Russo wrote that. That's true. People that actually suggest that Vince Russo killed Owen Hart is the most embarrassing suggestion. Like, of all the things that you want to hate Vince Russo for, you can't blame him for that.
Right.
Like,
I agree.
That's ridiculous.
That's an accident. It could happen. Anyone could have, Owen agreed to do it, And
here, I'll defend Russo here. The company that was doing this, whatever you want to call it, stunt, they had worked with WCW in the past where Sting would rappel down. And nobody could predict.
So WCW killed Owen Hart.
Yeah.
It was an
Vince
inside
Russo
job.
killed WCW, so all right. Vince did kill Owen Hart. My bad. Sorry.
Fun fact, I made a troll video and I titled it Owen Hart's Death because I thought it would be Owen Hart was if anybody that knew Owen Hart, he was a prankster. So I thought in my twisted mind he'd think it was funny. I took video of they had a fake dummy Sting fall from the Raptors and I dubbed in JR announcing Owen's death. I know it's pretty sick.
Monster.
It had like 6 million views at one point.
Fucking phenomenal.
You disgust me. Pretty funny.
That's great. I'm sorry. That's phenomenal.
Is that video still up?
Other people have copied it and put it on other channels. It's out there somewhere. I know it is.
Do you still have it? Or send me a link. I want to see that. That's funny.
Yeah, I'll try to find it.
I'm watching the little pond in my neighbor's backyard. His big black dog's jumping around in the pond.
Oh, dog. Thank
What are
God.
you doing? I said, I'm watching this dog jump around in this pond. and
Thank God he said
trying
big
to figure
black
out
dog.
what the fuck you're doing.
His wife was taking
Well,
that.
and, you know, this, that, and then the other thing.
Allegedly.
He's trying to sell me, you know, we'll keep an eye on him. He's got different ideas. I said, yeah, he has different ideas, all right. I said, this ain't gonna be good for business.
I'm going to save Jake's
You
phone
know,
number so I know it's him when he calls now.
You know, and Jeff he's almost got Jerry's silver tongue. You know, Jerry could say the glasses on your own face, as Teeny used to say. So I said, we'll talk about it when I get down there.
That background is the same color as Kevin Brennan's face.
Yeah, it is.
Sat down with Jeff, sat down with Doug.
What I like about Cornette, and it's something that Melton's got as well, they could talk for ages without really actually saying anything, you know?
Yeah.
Because Cornette was just kind of going on, giving you details of the story, just keeping you engaged. And like I say, it's good. There's people that are really good at that. And Cornette's one of them. Patrick Melton's really good at it. But Melton can go an hour and not tell you anything. It's amazing.
It is a talent. It's an absolute talent. All right, let's move on. Cornette would later be asked to become an agent, someone who works directly with the wrestlers to help plan the matches, which led to him dealing with Russo more regularly and eventually leading to them butting heads in promotion meetings again. He was eventually released in September 2009 for not being 100% behind the creative team. What say you guys? Does that sound?
Yeah, but that's just Cornette being stuck in the past. Like, did you know he still watches stuff on VHS?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, like he never evolved. He's the exact same haircut from the 70s. Like he hates modern technology, which is why I find it amazing that he's embraced the YouTube as much as he has.
Yeah, well, I
mean, he refuses to do video, and there's so many things he refuses to do. It's like you're costing yourself money. Now, granted, he's probably making more than enough, and it's fine. But the money he could be making, like he could be making ridiculous money if
he could be doing live streams.
Yeah,
you're right. He doesn't do any video.
But I think he's making a killing regardless. He does like scheduled cameo bookings where it's like, we're going to do 150 cameos and they sell out in like fucking an hour.
Wow.
You know, and then he just does those cameos, sends them out, and like he makes fucking $5,000 or whatever in one hit just from doing a bunch of cameos. Like he's doing fine, but
yeah,
God, he could be making so much more money.
But I said, Dixie, well, we just don't believe you're 100%. If you can't be 100, we want to hit a home run and we're swinging for the fences. And if you don't truly believe in it, then you can't do your best. I said, I can't do my best job. I said, I drive from fucking Louisville. I'm never late. I'm the first one there. I'm one of the last ones to leave. Dutch rides with me. Both of us were one of the last ones to leave. I've never no-showed, never shown up in the condition not to perform. Always done my best, sweated my fucking ass off. You think I'm not 100% behind this shit? That was insulting that she would think that I would do less than my best just because I think that the guy writing the show is an idiot. No, I had to do better than my best to make up for the fact that the guy writing the show is an idiot. And I said, so basically, Russo has said that I'm fucking with his shit and you need to, oh, no, this has nothing to do with Vince. Please, seriously? And she expected me to believe this. So anyway, I said, all right, Dixie, I guess we're going to agree to disagree then. Thank you very much. And I'll see you down the road or whatever in the funny papers, whatever the fuck. We left it on it that I wasn't going to knock them and they weren't going to knock me and everybody's happy. And, you know, I disbelief at that point. But then the next day I read on the internet from the Sun in England, Jim Cornette dismissed from TNA. Do you remember this? For blowing up and screaming at Vince Russo and acting unprofessionally. And why are you pushing Eric Young and all this other stuff that was in the production meeting that we were that was supposed to be it. Yeah. Only it didn't happen that way. As I called Terry Taylor, I said, what the fuck is this? Well, yeah, we've got a leak somewhere, and I wish I knew where. I said, let leak, Terry. Jesus Christ, you were in the meeting. A, this shit didn't happen. I didn't scream at him. B, I didn't go into business for myself. You guys said, okay, we'll change it. You know what he said? This is his exact quote of what he said to me. Jim, it's just that
you're so aggressive sometimes people don't want to agree with you or don't want to disagree with you. I said, but you still agreed with me. I didn't go into business for myself. I didn't change anything. I didn't scream at anybody. I didn't motherfuck anybody. And we went on, and now he's had the chance to go in and say, because what happened was Russo, with nobody else to talk to Dixie that had any sense, was able to tell her, Cornette's changing my shit. If only my, brilliant thoughts were be able to hit the screen uncompromised, then we'd be in better shape than we are now, which is up shit creek without a fucking paddle.
So after, yeah, what do you want to say?
No, I just want to say, because, and again, OJ's going to disagree with me, but Cornette, I do agree he has a good wrestling mind, and he was a part of some great stuff in WCW and Jim Crockett promotions with Starcade, the Midnight Express. All that stuff was great, but Jim Cornette as a booker, as writing the show, has never hit any heights. And I hate when people talk about jealousy, like this person's jealous of me because they hate me because they're jealous of me. But this is an instance. I think Jim is genuinely jealous that Vince was able to be the head writer of a period of time that just wrestling blew up. And same with Bischoff. He's got the same bitterness towards Bischoff.
Head writer.
Wrestling.
There was a room of guys that were writers. Vince, Jim Cornette, before Russo was there, it was Vince McMahon, Jim Cornette, and Pat Patterson. There's a couple guys in the room going to Vince's pool and writing.
When Vince Russo took over as head writer, and Jim Cornette said this, it was Vince Russo, Jim Cornette, and Vince McMahon. It was three people. Sure. And Vince Russo had Vince McMahon's ear, and Vince McMahon was going with Vince Russo's ideas. Jim Cornette was on the writing team when it was fucking Mantar and fucking
hey, Mantar was cool.
The booger guy, what's the fucking booger guy?
Bastion Booger.
Yeah,
cool.
All that stuff. Jim Cornette was on the writing team.
That wasn't his writing.
Yeah, but Jim Cornette was on the writing team at that point.
And he was shitting on that too.
Yeah, he shits on it, but he was a part of it. And this is the thing. Jim Cornette never wrote anything that exploded ratings worldwide.
Well, by what you're saying, he could say that's the whole Attitude Era too. Then he was part of that team until he wasn't. So
yeah, and he wasn't when it was getting its most popular. That's the point. He got banished.
Again. I mean,
it was at its most popular.
Again, for me, Vince, there would be no, if there was no ECW, Vince Russo would have been nothing. He stole the whole ECW concept and made the Attitude Era. That's all that was. If we're going to be real about how great of a writer Vince Russo
have a bias. You have
really
a biased view. You have a biased view of Vince Russo, and I'm not.
No, I don't. I told you I like the guy. I just prefer, and when it comes to the professional wrestling business, there's not much that he did that I appreciated.
You are gay.
I just find that crazy. Like, I got into wrestling when Vince Russo was the head writer. The Rock, Stone Cold, Mankind, Triple H, The Undertaker, that whole period, 98 into 99, that was compelling television, and Vince Russo was the head writer.
Gentlemen,
you can't take that away from him.
I think
I can, because the NWO and Hulk Hogan, the biggest star in wrestling history, was the reason why the whole Attitude Era took off, and the whole reason why WWF had to change directions, because they're getting squashed.
Yeah, they had to change direction, and they put Vince Russo in charge of their writing team.
Sorry, Mr. Horrible.
Oh no, I think this is great. I'm glad.
Fuck him. No, you and I argue a little bit, and I enjoy that.
Well, it wouldn't be fun if we were agreeing with everything with it. I mean,
of course. No, and when I heard you the other day, I knew you were in Jim Cornette's corner. I knew it, so I'm like, I'm gonna have to bring a Vince Russo slant to this. I love Jim Cornette.
That's beautiful.
I think he's entertaining as fuck, but I can debate. I can debate this shit.
It's safe to say that at the time, these two were kind of perfect. Like, for everything. Because I didn't know, like, Jim Cornette kind of takes credit for coming up with the ending of the Montreal Screwjob.
And so does Vince.
Vince Russo does as well.
Well, that's not true, but because Cornette did pitch an idea that didn't get used, where he says, well, what if Shawn Michaels runs into the ring and cream pies Bret Hart's wife. And then Vince was like, "No, goddammit, you're a cock."
What the fuck, Corny?
Hey,
Russo in the office. Fuck each other.
Russo and Cornette have both said they pitched the Montreal Screwjob to Vince, but the other one was out of the room at the time.
That's
so
hilarious.
when Cornette pitched it, Vince Russo was out of the room. When Russo pitched it, Cornette was out of the room. They both it's ridiculous.
I gotta mention this again. I'm sorry for promoting my own stuff. I really never do this, but I have a wrestling. I made fake wrestling interviews, and one of the I re-edited the audio to make it sound like Bret Hart was trashing Jim Cornette, and it's apparently it was so believable. Cornette believed it and talked about it on his show.
Send me that too. That's awesome.
And we have to find the episode where Cornette talks about it.
Yeah, El Harible, what would Kevin Brennan say about Jim Cornette's private life?
He would say, Jim Cornette's private life, he's a fucking idiot. He's a fucking cock. I can't believe how much he loves to be cocked.
He's a cock.
He's a cock.
Cock.
Fucking Chad. I gotta work on my my solo Brennan, like when he's not so animated. That part of the impersonation is hard.
I look forward to when Carl covers Tony Michaels again, and then maybe I can get an appearance on WATP.
Well, does he know it's you? You have to let him know.
Yeah, he knows it's me.
Oh, okay.
So I posted in the chat a link to the channel that I made. It's all fake wrestling. I thought it would be a funny take to take a fake business and put that spin on it, make it a fake interview. So I interview, sometimes you hear my voice interviewing someone that's not a real interview. I'm just taking other clips of stuff. So
kind of like this show.
There you go.
A good question by Crusher in the comments. If you had to pick Bret Hart's wife or Cornette's wife in the '69, Bret Hart's first wife was great before she ruined her body having children.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I want to ask who's on top in the '69 first before I answer this question.
If Cornette's wife's on top, then
it's game over.
Then R.I.P.
Yeah,
and the smell, Jesus.
All right, we only have 2 clips left, and then we're gonna be done for today. Thank you guys for hanging out. Kinky Loco wrote, it was after this firing that Cornette began to publicly insult Russo during any and all interviews, often cutting extremely personal and vindictive promos on him. In March of 2010, he sent an email to a member of TNA management that contained the lines, "I want Vince Russo to die. If I could figure out a way to murder him without going to prison, I would consider it the greatest accomplishment of my life." This led to TNA forwarding the email to their lawyers. Yes.
Sorry, a lot of people think Jim Cornette's funny, and most of Jim Cornette's comedy is jokes that he heard in the '70s and read in a joke book.
Sure,
that is fucking hilarious.
It is
that
hilarious.
email that he wrote is fucking brilliant.
This led to TNA forwarding the email to their lawyers, who informed Cornette they considered the email to be a terroristic threat, and that any further threats to contact Vince Russo or any other TNA personnel, directly or indirectly, shall be viewed as acts in furtherance of such threats and shall be pursued and prosecuted accordingly. Quote. Outside of... Oh, sorry.
So, no, but Cornette's one of these guys who, from the 80s and 90s, got away with a lot of that sort of stuff of physically attacking people who then couldn't do anything about it because their job would be at risk.
Sure.
But now he's not in that position, so he can't just threaten people. If you don't fuck my wife, you're fired. Cuck.
Outside of the occasional questions asked during interviews and podcasts about the subject, the two mostly just lived their lives and did not directly interact with each other. And that changed in 2017 when Cornette cut a promo challenging Russo to a physical fight. So here we go. This is Vince or Jim Cornette challenging Vince Russo.
Classic.
To a fight.
Just before you play this, because I vividly remember this. I remember where I was when I heard this.
It's hilarious.
So it's great. Oh fuck! I've lost my train of thought. Just play it. Fuck.
Liar and a fraud, but they prove it time and time again. But Vince Russo has said, "I'm a coward. I'm not a man unless I will say these things to his face. like we can somehow debate this out and all walk off and be friends into the sunset. Well, he said anytime, anywhere. Well, Vince, I got an offer for you, Vince Russo, and I want all your little stooges to listen real close, and I want them to tell you. I want them to play this for you because I want you to hear it. You say you want to meet me face to face, and you want me to say all these things to you in person instead of behind your back. Well, we ain't going to do it on a podcast. We ain't going to have a debate. Here's the deal. You send me a date and a time and an address. And it doesn't have to be your home address because I know you don't want me to know where you live because you probably do live in your in-laws' basement since you're an unemployed failure and you're toxic and nobody wants to have anything to do with you. And every wrestling promoter, every great wrestling veteran of the last 20 years that's ever drawn any money has nothing but bad things to say about you. Bret Hart said you ought to be hung in a parking lot. I know you don't want me to know where you live, so send me a date and a time and a neutral address, and I'll come to you. You don't have to come to me. You're in Evansville now. It's not that far away. I'll come to you because I know you don't have money for gas, Vince, being as you're in such a miserable state and you're living on food stamps. Your wife's probably ready to divorce you because you haven't had a job and been employed in years. So send me a date, a time, and an address. I'll come to you. Make it a public park, maybe somewhere out of the way, somewhere where there won't be too many people to intervene. You've never been in a fight, gutless pussy. I can whip you. Besides, it's not even going to be hand to hand because I said no guns, no knives. But I got a bat. I could find a stick. I don't give a.
Okay, I know this is immature to say so, but if they ever fought, Russo would kick Cornette's arse because Russo's he stayed in shape. He's 6'4" or something. Well, Cornette's a big fat old fuck whose dick doesn't work.
It's true. That's one of the things I like about Cornette is that he has an uncontrollable love for shit food.
Yeah.
And I do like that about Cornette.
Double onions, double bacon,
double loads on my wife's face from two guys while I sit in the corner rewinding the VHS tape using a fucking screwdriver. Cock.
So
it's not a bad Cornette.
That is very good. This clip led to Russo filing a restraining order against Cornette for stalking him across state lines since 1999.
All right, we'll go a step further, El Harib. Like,
yes, please.
Cornette sold copies of that.
Autographed copies.
Autographed copies of that.
I think he mentions that in this clip. Or no, maybe he didn't. Maybe I heard that in another clip, but I did hear that he was selling autograph.
And there's hours. I know, we don't have hours to play all of the Cornette because there's so much Cornette out there, commentary on this. But he's talked about this in detail about even getting the letter from the sheriff and oh God, it's great stuff.
Cornette will explain to you the manner in which he opened the fucking door, like the way he turned the knob and everything. That's what Cornette does.
Yeah. See, ever since Cornette learned about multi-ads on YouTube, everything goes long. Like, you could ask him what's your favorite number, and he could make it last over 8 minutes.
You want to talk about multi-ads? Just click on Hughezy Entertainment. There's 17 ads before you even...
And he cuts everything out. He edits it. But then he goes on other people's show and he just talks about, people's wives getting loads on their faces and stuff. OJ, cut all that out.
When Hughezy finally does something I want to listen to and then I click on it, I have to skip so many ads. It's so frustrating.
These Uncle Rico shirts don't come cheap.
Right.
I know that Shuley wouldn't be giving me any money for it either. Oh!
All right.
New Ray DeVito episode coming next week.
New Ray DeVito episode coming next week to Hughezy's podcast. All right, this is literally the last clip, and it's just Russo and Cornette talk about the restraining order. So maybe this is where I heard it. But this is only a minute, and then we're done. Again, I wanted to do this because I enjoy these two as far as, I like when real life stuff happens in wrestling because a lot of times, they can't handle it. But this is great. And also, I'm a big fan of Cornette, and I would tell anyone to listen to Cornette's podcast. I think it's extremely interesting. Obviously, if you're into wrestling, it's more interesting than if you're not, just like the last hour of the show.
But even if you don't know the players, like El Horrible was just saying, Cornette is just so damn entertaining. You give him a subject, and he'll just go. And you can, he's very easy to listen to. So,
all right, last clip.
Kenny Bolin said to me, he goes, Vince, I'm telling you, you need to file a
Love recording
order,
off the TV.
order of
It's great.
protection
Right.
against Jim Cornette. He said, because I don't think Jim will do anything, but he goes, I think Jim would incite people to do.
Was that a smoke detector alarm? Like a chirp?
That is very, very likely, though I think it might be Russo's cock alarm.
I'm going to go back real quick. I thought I heard like a smoke alarm chirp.
Every time he says Russo, it goes beep because no cocks allowed in the Russo house.
Goes,
Cock.
I think Jim
There
would
was.
incite people to do something.
Russo being an idiot.
Sorry, pause, please.
Yes.
I do. Vince mentioned something there. We may have talked over it. Kenny Bolin came into this story. Kenny Bolin is Jim Cornette's best friend. Well, as a kid was best friend, and who knows what their relationship is now. But he's a morbidly obese human being that allegedly fucks underage girls. He
allegedly.
Yes, I said allegedly.
I know. I didn't say it in my voice.
He told Vince Russo to file the restraining order.
That was interesting. Yeah, because I didn't know who that was, and now that you say that was his best friend, I put that together. That he was the one who told Vince Russo to get the restraining order.
And by the way, where you got the video stopped is Cornette's attic, and that's all wrestling memorabilia.
And,
wow.
And speaking of Kenny Bolin on Keeping It 100, he pretty much said that Cornette is a closeted Not that there's anything wrong with being a yoo-hoo.
I love yoo-hoo.
That's my new sound effect that I had to edit the end. I have another one. Where is it?
Don't get in the microphone, you fucking idiot.
Just talked over it. It's fine.
He registers this restraining order. They bring it to me. The cops come up, knock on the front door. I'm like, what? When they told me what it was, I busted out laughing. This is great. I've got him. I've got this guy. Right?
He's a maniac.
We immediately made copies of the restraining order and put it up on sale on my website. And we've raised now, I think, over $6,000 for the WHS Crusade for.
Oh, I figured it out. The smoke detector chirp is on the person who's recording this off their TV.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. You're right. Also, we've spoken a little bit about Patrick Melton from Nobody Likes Onions. That's a Patrick Melton move. If right now Steel Toe sent Patrick Melton a cease and desist or something, he would print those out and he would sell them in his store.
It's a great move. Agreed.
Yeah, for sure.
Children off of selling copies of the restraining order that this dickless, gutless, ballless pussy put out on me because he's so stupid that he believed that I was going to have him killed. We're grown.
I like the reenactment section.
Past history. It's 10, 20 years ago. How long are we going to let this go on?
Blah. You can't get away with that F word, right, on YouTube?
No.
Yeah, that's why I had to edit those drops. But people who know them know what the word is. So
That's why I won't answer questions about James Corden.
Of course.
Because he is a blood.
Did you know there was an advertising campaign in the 80s? I don't know if you guys know what Australians, and I think the British call cigarettes, but
yes.
There was a advertising campaign in Australia in the 80s. It was only dags smoke fags.
Really?
Yeah.
What's a dag?
A dag is what hangs off a sheep's ass. Like when shit gets attached to it, that's called a dag.
Learn
They gotta
something
try and
new
cut
every
that off.
day.
Yeah.
A dingleberry, brother.
Hey, you got to
But
cut out now
the-
that he said the F word.
The key to it is it rhymes with fag. So that
Hey,
was
you can't say that.
Which is the term
Okay.
used for
cigarette.
cigarettes.
Oh,
Cigarette.
that's right. Oh, you're talking
See?
about cigarettes. Yeah.
Cigarette. Yeah.
OJ, cut that all out. Fellas, thank you so much for spending way too much time with me today. This was an international BeDabblin. I love it.
Fuck all super chats, by the way. Fuck all of you.
No, thank you.
You're all
all
pieces
for the
of shit. Anyone in that chat can fuck yourself.
Everyone's still sleeping in the United States.
You bunch of
Still early.
dags.
Thank you all. Thank you all for the super chats. Thank you guys for joining me. I think my biggest problem with the Dabbleverse is that everyone's in different time zones, but we figured it out because we have 4 different time zones here. Whoa! Hughezy, give your plugs.
At the Hughezy on Twitter and Instagram. Preferably follow me on Instagram because I have a very low following on there. Check out Hughezy Entertainment on YouTube. We're starting Monday. I will be uploading clips from my new Ray DeVito interview. There will be multiple ads, and keep on cooking.
Keep on cooking on. Thank you, Hughezy. As always, thank you for doing 2 shows like pretty much in a row, 2 Saturdays in a row. I appreciate that. But I really wanted to get to the wrestling stuff.
Oh yeah, well yeah, because as of next weekend, it's back to party time. I'll be doing all this sort of stuff, going hee ha hoo hee, and then on Sundays I will be vomiting blood and farting stuff, and
come farting,
cack, yeah, come.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Hughezy. The Aussie guy, please give us your plugs.
Yeah, I don't know what to plug right now, but no, actually, what I want. So Malatown, I announced earlier, is no more, but it still exists right now. Please, I think the most recent episode I put out, I could be wrong, but I think it's the most recent episode. Malatown Vacation 6 El Horrible.
Ooh. Oh, so you put our episode on.
Yeah, that's up. Well, I thought I
Nice.
told you. I'm pretty sure I tagged you on a tweet.
Did I retweet? Oh, yeah, I must have retweeted.
Yeah, you might have retweeted it. Anyway, point being, please just go to that. I think either download it, I think you need to listen to a minute of it, maybe. But I just want to make a point to some people and just sort of point out, so if I could get a bump in numbers to that particular episode, I'd appreciate it. So go to Malatown, go to your whatever podcast app you use, Malatown Vacation 6 El Horrible, download it, listen to it, and just give me a bump in numbers for that one episode. And then other than that, I don't care if you fucking do anything after that. I mean, subscribe. Why not? Just help me out in that way. But otherwise, and on Twitter, I am at that Aussie Guy. Just imagine that Aussie Guy. Put an S where the A
should be.
That's Sussy Guy. Gentlemen, thank you so much. OJ, as always, thank you. Are there any plugs you want to give besides the one that John does at the end of our show?
No, other than, I don't know. If you're not subscribed to me, you could come subscribe. I'm at Obnoxious John, Twitter, YouTube. I've been streaming a lot of old Stuttering John clips. I have another one coming up. I haven't picked a day or anything yet, but if you're interested in Stuttering John podcasts, I guess I'm your place for that.
Follow OJ on Twitter. He's a great follow. Really racist.
Follow OJ, follow the Hughezy, and follow that Sussy Guy. Right? That instead of the.
Yes, and
Everything has to be so confusing.
And if you're horny and desperate, follow Jim Cornette's wife.
There you go. There's no better way to end the show. So till next time, guys, always be dabbling.
Hello, everyone. This is your favorite world-famous host, Stuttering John. Thanks for watching BeDabblin Live with El Horrible. Leave him a voicemail anytime, and we'll play it on the show. 973-440-9770. Follow at El Horrible on Twitter at BeDabbler. Follow OJ on Twitter at Obnoxious John. Till next time, be dabbling.
Whoops. Wrong button. Thank you, guys.